They were once known as the Bedford Rovers and the Bedford Swifts. Back in the 1800s, that was, before the two clubs were amalgamated. And the county town of Bedford, well, it's seen rugby played here at Goldington Road on the same pitch for over 100 years. There's plenty of history around these parts. Bedford, the birthplace of the late, great Ronnie Barker, for all you comedy fans. Now, the home of Bedford Blues, of course, plying their trade in the Greene King IPA Championship on this, well, pretty immaculate-looking bowling green of a pitch. And this afternoon, well, they've got a challenge on their hands to take on Rotherham Titans in our 3 o'clock kickoff. Will the flag continue to fly proudly after the full 80 this afternoon? Very good afternoon and welcome to Goldington Road. Delighted to be joined by former England and Lions scrum half Dowie Morris. And Dowie, Bedford in 6th in the table, Rotherham in 12th. They desperately need a win here, don't they?
To say the least, they desperately need a win. They desperately need a performance, to be honest, because they've leaked over 200 points. They've only scored 100 points, and 40 odd of those were against Pirates away. So they're in all sorts of trouble at the moment. And for me, the biggest problem is they're so passive, or too passive in defence. It allows teams to get at them, to get behind them, and to score lots of tries. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, this is a place where this mate can find a few old friends, and you had the chance earlier to catch up with Martin Hines and Paul Tupai. Let's see how that little chat went.
Well, alongside me, I got two male models. Martin Hines runs the forwards down here, my old mate from Orrell back in the day, and Paul Tupai, who defies all logic whatsoever, still playing at 43 years of age. I can't work that out. Is it something to do with the beer?
It's good beer down here, to be fair, yeah. Don't know how I'm doing it, to be fair, but like still enjoying it. That's the main thing. Still loving it, and still throwing it about, and sort of. This is it, though. Like, this is my last.
You sure we can confirm or deny, or definitely confirm this is your last season?
Definitely is. Like my goal was to play 10 years for Bedford, get a testimonial for them, and they've given me one of those. So I think it's a good way to go out. I've played for two good clubs sort of in my career, Bay of Plenty in New Zealand, and done 12 years for them, and doing 10 years for Bedford is for such a wonderful club is a great achievement in my career.
I think you deserve a rest. So just go back 10 years if you can, Ainsley, when this guy turned up. What was expected of him, or were you a bit in trepidation of this sort of big figure, big character coming?
Because Toops still lives in Northampton. He had a couple of years at the Saints there, and Mike Rea said, "What do you think to this kid? You know, shall we have a look at him?" I'm thinking, oh yeah,
he was 33 then.
Yeah. Great idea, Mike. Yeah, great. And of course, I've been seeing him a few times at the Gardens. Cards, knocking Grucock out, cards. You're thinking, my word. So we had a crack with Mike. I said, he's just what we need. A little hard edge. He'll do well for our young fellas over here. But I don't know whether they can control him, do we? You know, he could be wild. Anyway, when he gets here, oh, what a pleasant surprise. What a great guy he's been. He's been an absolute ambassador to the club. He's been fantastic with the young fellas, fetching them through, making sure the right ones are sat next to him in the changing rooms.
Well, something you're keen of is the culture down here. I mean, it's a Kiwi way of having a culture, but actually being a role model as well is very important, to, like you said, to the youngsters.
Oh, Debbie, without this fella, I guarantee you'd be shy of a few internationals. Not just the ability they have, but the composure, walk away from that one, get your head in that one. When as coaches, when you let the lads go over the whitewash, that's you done. Or it's you done till half time. But when you've got generals like Toops out there, oh, it's fantastic just seeing him go about his work, you know. And the other thing I would say, you know, you're right, 30 odd years of age, coming putting a shift in at Bedford. But he's open to learning as well. How good's that? You know, Ray has to get him on the carpet a couple of times and say, Toops, did you need to hit him at that point then?
You just said Toops. Yeah, you can't use the hitting anymore, Ainsley. What I'm going to say now, I said you're obviously going to retire at the end of this year, but Connor's doing well. Your lad's doing well at Northampton Saints, but he's seen the light. He's playing 10. Playing 9, which is obviously the greatest position in the world, but actually he likes 12 as well.
He likes 12 as well. He's a good kid. He's been brought up around rugby pretty much all his life. He arrived at Goldington Road at 6 years old, 7 years old. So, you know, the Bedford supporters, Hinesy, Mike, and all them, they've seen him grow up. And probably one of my greatest things in rugby is doing a pre-season with them this year with Bedford. And you know, to be fair, I was a proud dad, and he come on a social at the end of the pre-season, and just to see him come from a 6-year-old boy to doing a pre-season with the senior squad and coming to a social and having a few beers with me, it was sort of like, it was a proud moment for me.
Well, if the Barbars, anyone who's selecting the Barbars, he's still fit, he could still do a shift and put his lad in as well at 17. You could get that dream of playing together. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Oh, I'd love it. Hopefully before the season's over, I'll hopefully get a serious game with him. We played a charity game last year for Mike Howard, but just to play a good serious game with him, it'll just cap off my 25 years of playing first class rugby.
That'd be fantastic. Right, you've done 10 years service here. You deserve, if anyone deserves a testimony, I think this man does. Ainsley, can you talk a bit about what's going to be going on this year?
Yeah.
So I know he doesn't want to.
Love to.
Doesn't want to talk too much about that.
You're dead right. We're starting with the opening of it today. So there's little bits and pieces in the marquee. The opening, there's an auction. We've got some great prizes for that as well, just to sort of kick things off. And through the season, there's some dinners going on. Toops' testimonial's been working hard behind the scenes to put some good events on. We don't want too many.
No, I've heard Martin Johnson's name bandied about.
Yeah.
Sean Fitzpatrick.
Correct.
Rightly so.
Correct. There's some great people coming to the dinners. There's one in London, really selling out fast. So get on Toops' website and see if you can get yourselves in on it. So there's some fantastic things, and then there's going to be a game back at the end of the season where we're going to finish things off at home. So
and that'll be his final game, will it be? If the Barbars don't call.
Yeah. Correct. The Shepherd's Crook's coming out. Then he's having it. That's it. He's getting pulled off for that.
And you're burning your boots. We will burn your boots officially there. Fantastic. Then there's one the downside about that. I believe he's going to be MC or comparing some of these dudes. So no blue for the dads. All right.
No.
Nothing too blue. There'll be a mixed audience in there.
There'll be a full tank on there. Full tank. The main thing for it is, for me, really, is lots of lads get testimonials throughout their careers and benefit years and this and the other, but for me, it's a genuine with Toops. He's proper earned it, old school, came through the amateur days same as we did, Dowie, and he's been so tough and determined to get through these professional years as well, but not as an hanger on. He's been first on the team sheet for us. That's the main thing. He's absolutely deserved everything that he gets from this club, and I hope he has a great year. Yeah,
I think legend is an overused word sometimes, not in this case. I wish you all the best today.
Thank you, Dowie.
And all the best of the season, Toops. All the best. Cheers, pal.
Thank you.
Two gentlemen on tremendous form there, Dowie.
Well, I got to tell you off the record. Well, it's not off the record. It's on the record. Martin Hines has not been very well overnight. He had 8 oysters, some bad mackerel at a do that he was promoting. Again, Paul Tupoi, one of Paul Tupai's do's, and he's been sick all night. So
oh dear. Very, very brave man. It's a great family club, this, isn't it? They love rugby in these parts, and they'll be cheering on the Blues this afternoon, no doubt about that.
There'll be 3,000-4,000 through the gate, enjoying the beers. There's hospitality text there. It's an old-fashioned rugby ground. They have aspirations here, but they're not stupid. They don't want to go in the Premiership because of all the problems that can bring financially. So they want a good quality of rugby, which they do week in, week out. They play a good style of rugby, which brings the speckies in. And at the end of the day, everyone goes back to the bar afterwards, have a couple of pints and enjoys it.
And they'll be cherishing that away victory. Let's just have a look at the results from round 5 from last week then. And well, you can see that result there. Bedford, that second one, away win, 15 points to 13 against Jersey Reds. Bristol keeping up appearances at the top of the table against Ealing Trailfinders, first against second, that one 32-23. Scottish losing out to Doncaster Knights, 15 points to 27. Nottingham just squeaking the win against Hartpury College by 31 points to 28. The Titans, well, that was their 5th loss out of 5 against Richmond. And then Yorkshire Carnegie 28, Yorkshire Cornish Pirates 26. It's not been the easiest of runs for Rotherham Titans.
And it doesn't get any better. They've got the B&I Cup over the next 2 weeks now, which I'd rag off, to be honest. Nothing against the Cup because they're in all sorts of trouble. Then they've got Ealing and Bristol after that, so they have to start doing something. And fair dues to the East Side Bedford going out to Jersey. We've got a lumpy pack. Their line-out fell away a little bit in that game. They had a chance to really put it out of sight, but they came away with a very good win, and that's why they see them in 6th place in the league, and they're a force to be reckoned with, especially on their home soil.
Yeah, some cracking tries scored last week. Let's have a look at the try lights from round 5. So some decent scores that went down a week ago. Let's just have a look then at the table as to how it stands ahead of this one, or ahead of this weekend. And Dowie, well, Bristol are firmly in charge at the minute.
Where the bookies had them at the start of the season and where they will be at the end of the season, because they have got a super squad. But I've got to give a good credit to Ealing Trailfinders, who could have actually nicked that game, and that would have put the old proverbial cat amongst the pigeons. But look, Rotherham Titans, again, they've got to get something out of today. They've got to finish within 7 points. I think a win down here would be away from their wildest dreams, but if they could get 4 tries, get 1 point there, stay within 7, get 2 points, get something out of it, and try and close that gap on London Scottish.
We've talked about the recent form guide. Let's have a look then at the results of both of these sides over the course of the Greene King IPA Championship so far this season. Bedford Blues, well, they won the first couple of games against Richmond and London Scottish away and then at home. They then had that loss to Ealing Trailfinders in round 3. It was a fairly hefty defeat to Bristol Rugby. That's what Bristol can do when they fancy it, but they'll take real heart from that away win at Jersey Reds, that win by 2 points.
Yeah, and it's not an easy place to go. Like I said, they've got a big pack, Jersey Reds, but they just found a way for all to do it. Like I said, the line actually fell apart for them, but they stuck to the script and did it. But coming back to that Bristol game here, there was 15 tries, and Pat Lamb was talking about the frailties in the Bristol defence. Bedford scored some super tries. It wouldn't matter who was out the All Blacks. I tell you what, they still would have scored 3 or 4 of those tries. They know how to do that, and this is the unfortunate other side to Rotherham Titans, which they are up against today. 5 played, 5 losses.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's not looking great for Rotherham, but this is the opportunity for them to turn it around, and they're certainly scoring some decent tries. I mean, part of the problem may be that a few of them are going back in at the other end, but let's have a look at the highlights from both of these sides from last weekend particularly. And well, this was a moment where Jersey thought they were on the run in against Bedford, a little bit of a turnaround, and eventually, well, as we'll see, the ball finds Dean Adamson, who makes the break, and it's finished by Rich Lane.
It is, and again, it's just that everyone just switches off, and this is the problem with Jersey. They thought they were going for the try line. A drop ball, and again a good finish, a good score into the corner, rounds off under the post almost and makes it a 7 points. It was a tight game, but one they'll be very, very happy, and I know for a fact they had quite a few beers after it, so yeah, well done to them.
Lane's try was converted by Shepherd. There was then a Coke penalty, Godfrey try and Coke conversion to make it 13-10 to Jersey, and then this score that came from Shepherd. Keep your eye on the short side, because that's where it's going to come.
But again, that's the story again for Jersey. There were so many mistakes made. They were doing so many good things. Drop balls. I don't know what the actual tally of turnovers for both sides. It was a scrappy affair, but one that Bedford will take. And Jersey have to sort of lick their wounds and get on with it and start getting some wins, to be honest.
So those are the scores that went down from Bedford Blues. And well, this is how Rotherham fared against Richmond. It was another loss, but certainly capable of getting the ball through the hands and doing some nice stuff.
Indeed, they play some good when they're on the front foot and they're not sort of hanging back. Again, it's a super score to start the game off. You can see that they're thinking, then, is this going to be a day? Are we going to get our first win? Unfortunately, again, far too many mistakes allowed Richmond to come back into the game. And Richmond are a great story. They run their club in a total amateur aspect. But again, there's just too far between chances that are Rotherham Titans are finishing off.
Well, as we build up towards kick-off here, it's a chance to hear from both of the coaches, and we'll start hearing from Bedford from Mike Rare. Well, Mike, last week's win was a dogged performance, probably something that you're pleased to see in your side at this stage of the season.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've never gone too well out in Jersey, and yeah, it was a tough old attritional game, and thankfully, as you said, we came out on the right side of it, so it's give us a bit of a shot in the arm, really.
You're playing a side that have lost 5 games. I mean, it presents its own challenge taking on a side whose confidence is probably pretty low, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But they're a proud old bunch, Rotherham. They always have been, and we've always had tough games against them, and they make you work for your points. So, look, we've got to get a lot of things right today. One thing is our mindset, and make sure we come out with the blocks firing, and hopefully keep the pressure on them.
3 changes, all in the pack, 2 in the front row. Just explain those to us.
Yeah, look, George has had a long time out with a knee injury, and it's exciting to see him back. Brings plenty of abrasiveness, just a bit of rotation. The others, obviously Jordan Onajafi's come in on dual registration for the season, and he had a bit of concussion pre-season, so it's great to get him back in the second row. Hopefully get his hands on the ball and show us what he can do in open play.
And you've got Tom Williams, a former Bedford boy, former captain, on the bench of the Titans, and a few other threats around. What do you make of the Rotherham side?
Yeah, obviously it's a pity Rodri Davis didn't play in the 9 who we've looked at in the build-up to this game. But you know they got some strong runners up front. Toby Williams, who's playing at loose head, we've identified him. 15. He's a real running threat as well. He's probably one of their best players. So we've got to keep an eye on it. We can't afford to get it too loose. We've got to make sure we do our basics really well, and hopefully build a strong enough lead really to take him out the equation.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Well, Andy, 12 tries in 3 games. Problem perhaps of the Titans at the moment is letting them in. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, definitely, I'd agree that. I mean, it's been exciting from a point of view of scoring tries, but it's been hugely disappointing from a point of view of conceding them. I think we fully understand where, and certainly these last few weeks we've been working really hard on sort of putting that right, and hopefully today, with a 3-day turnaround for us in the sense of training, we've gone some way to doing that.
You're forced into a change at half-back with Rodri Davis out, and you've opted for a new half-back pairing. A bit of game management's what you want to see from them.
Yes, exactly. I mean, obviously we're really disappointed for Rodders. His injury, unfortunately, I think is going to probably be a little bit more long-term than short-term. But, fingers crossed in that sense. But, I think, the first 5 weeks we've done a lot of good things, but we probably at crucial times haven't quite controlled the game the way we wanted to. So, yeah, Caelan gets his opportunity this afternoon.
Luke Peters in the centre as well. We should see a bit of a midfield battle up there.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Luke couldn't quite make it last week. He picked up a hamstring strain the week before, very light really in that sense, and missed out last week. But pairing of Joe Barker and Luke back in the centre today, hopefully will sort of shore things up a bit, yeah.
What do you want to see from your guys this afternoon?
Well, I think it's, that... Can't fault these guys at all, but whether it's been in the game or whether we've actually been in training, and the way that the guys have responded has been fantastic. What we really do need is just to see a little bit of that heart that we get probably in the training. As I say, in the sense of putting things right, they've been brilliant. They really have been brilliant. So we just need maybe a bit of lady luck as well now and again. But this afternoon, I know the boys are up for this game. They really are. I mean, we've had 5 games, unfortunately no wins, only 1 point. And it's about time that changed, and I know they're really up for it.
Best of luck.
Thank you very much indeed.
So here come the teams then. Rotherham make their way out onto the pitch. Up in our commentary position. We'll run you through the teams in just a moment. And they're packing them in here as Bedford make 3 changes for this one after last week's win in Jersey. They're all in the pack with George Edson and Ben Cooper starting in the front row, while Jordan Onajafe gets the nod in the second row. Jordan Burns makes his 60th club appearance at scrum half, while Bedford boy Dean Adamson, he scored 6 tries in 5 appearances so far this season, a real threat on that left wing, and Michael LeBourgeois skippers the side. Here come the home side, Bedford. Let's just have a look at the Rotherham lineup. Rotherham Titans, well, it's a new half-back partnership, as we spoke there. Sees Portuguese international Francisco Vieira make his first start at scrum half for Rodri Davis, who injured that shoulder against Richmond. And Caelan Ryan makes his first start of the season at fly half for Lee Miller, who drops to the bench. In the backs, Luke Peters returns to the side after that dead leg against the Pirates, and he comes in for Drew Cheshire with Tom Calladine captaining. We're going to have a quick look at the benches just before we get underway. And there's 43-year-old Paul Tupai alongside 19-year-old Ryan Hutler, same age as Toops' son Connor, for Bedford. And for Rotherham, former Bedford captain Tom Williams will await his input into the front row later on. So we're ready to get underway. Our referee for this one is John Meredith, and it's Bedford who get us going from right to left. And Rotherham, they will look for a keen start in this one, given that, well, it hasn't happened for them for the season as a whole.
That's a tackle, knees down.
They scored first last week, but they weren't in front for long.
They've got to find themselves not in too much trouble here. It's adventurous from them. They've got a good setup, they've got a good go forward, and again, that's a microcosm of their season, dropping the ball, and now Bedford Blues are on the attack.
Bedford with a real chance here, straight into the hands of Ben Adams. They go again through Burns. Looks for that slightly longer pass to find on a Jaffe.
Rock, hands out! Thanks, mate. You're off feet, well done.
Right and left. Coming through Shepherd, looking to play that slightly shorter ball for Williams. Tackle was good enough, but a little bit too much crabbing on the floor. Should really have released the ball there.
He should have, but tackle was called, didn't release. Tried to scramble a couple of inches. John Meredith having none of it. But again, you just see Rotherham making that mistake. They've got a chance now to relieve some pressure. Well, I think you should have a bit more control, but better exit between your 9 and your 10. Your forwards have given you a good go-forward ball. The ball was there. And don't be afraid to kick it into row Z, and then you can set from there. Put some pressure on the Bedford line-out. This time they'll have their own line-out, which went pretty well last week. Their set piece wasn't too bad against Richmond. Unfortunately, just made many silly mistakes.
Let's see if they can get this one right. First one, the referee seems happy enough with. They start to try and get a bit of a roll on over that halfway line, and then it's a break, and they're away trying to look for that ball on the outside. Was Dan Grange. Played back in field for Adam Peters. Ball was a little loose as it came to Vieira, but now they're trying to straighten. Decent break that from Grange. They get a bit more go forward. Decent enough start from Rotherham with ball in hand. Luke Cole, they've got to hold on to it. Toby Williams in there giving him support. Then it's away again from Vieira through Ryan. The new half-back combination. Vieira just goes round the fringes, just tumbling to the floor there in that move. And then Luke Peters. Luke and Adam in the side, no relation. Rotherham again. Bedford wall has firmed up a little bit now. It's proving a little bit more difficult for them to get through, but Matt Shields will have a go, the former Nottingham, Plymouth and Harlequins man. Now they look to go back in field again. Ryan just holding it up, trying to put Joe Barker through the gap. Be interesting to see how these half-backs go, whether they can present that ball on the gain line a little bit more for Rotherham than they've managed to over the first 5 games of the season. Now they bring Will Thomas onto the ball. Le Bourgeois helping out the tackle. It's there for Vieira again. Back through Ryan. Ball back inside. That's nice for Peters, but he's had the ball ripped off him. And it's instant turnover for Bedford, and it's hoofed downfield, and it's staying in, and the chase is on, and Dean Adamson, well, he's giving chase. The ball beats everybody into touch. But Dowie Morris, I have a feeling you're going to say that's exactly what happens when you're Rotherham Titans.
And I think Andy Key, the coach would be looking on again. So much work, so much perspiration given out there, and it's just one moment, a lapse of concentration, ball turnover, and look where you find yourselves. Right back down the hill, 40, 45, 50 metres into that corner. Those boys up front won't want to see that, because it's that precision, and they just it's difficult, but they somehow have to hold on to the ball when they're in positions. They've held on to that line out now. Can they exit?
Rob Lowe with the jump. Got it down safely. Exit's got to be clean. He decided to just hold it in for a few more valuable metres and commit a few more of these Bedford defenders. You might be hoping John Meredith gives a penalty, which he now does. Well, they'll get a chance to relieve a bit more pressure from the penalty.
He's gone down himself.
Good, nothing wrong with that. Everyone was together on the same script. Take the line out, go forward, make Bedford commit the penalty, bringing it down, and now and don't be too greedy with the kick. Try and get up to the halfway line.
This could be headed straight for us. We could always catch it.
On the halfway line, Dan. Halfway line.
And then he's up to the halfway line, and now they set again.
Line's yours. Just hold inside the 15.
As Dan Morris says, plenty of bluff and bluster from Rotherham Titans at this stage. Getting some good enough go forward. They go to Peters at the front. Decent take from him. Now they're just trying to come around the corner and stay bound so that they can keep getting some go forward. That's decent enough. And they bind on again.
Don't change.
Back in the hands of Peters. At the back at the 10-metre line. Vieira is waiting for the call from the referee. He decides to go, plays it flat.
Stay there, don't creep.
Vieira again, coming in for the work. Luke Peters was looking to run onto that. Vieira again, Ryan. Now a little pass out of the side of the pocket. Ryan again likes that little work. Peters bringing a bit of physicality back in that centre, back in, having missed the game last week. Will Carrick-Smith was just loitering in that offside channel a little there, wasn't he? Wasn't quite England-Italy with the tackle.
Coached by Brendan Venter.
Yeah, absolutely. We were on the same page there. Vieira to the left. Byron Hodge, Australian-born former Sydney Stars man. Now it's Ryan again. Oh, that one might have just drifted forward. Building up a decent head of steam there, but just coming to naught. But they'll have had some decent possession in terms of the stats so far, Rotherham.
They have, and it's come through the forwards. They've gone back to type in a sense to just control the line. Like I said, the line was pretty good against Richmond last week, which is a good source of a launch pad. Unfortunately, it's what they do outside after that, and again, it's just unfortunate mistake after mistake, compounding the issues.
Decent number in for a Saturday afternoon in Bedford. Why not? Spot a championship rugby on your doorstep.
Well, they love the rugby down here, that's for sure. They love to play as well. Bedford Blues haven't had much. It's been all Rotherham so far as territory and phases. And I suppose mistakes, you'd have to say. Bedford
both the hookers are pre-engaged.
haven't had much chance with the ball in hand. But they can play.
Game back, you're having space. Set the scat properly.
I'm going to say Le Bourgeois.
You've got to get your shoulder through. You've got to make sure you go.
He's been superb this season. He's matured, I think the word I would use. And coming from the coaches, he's 4 years in Jersey, and he's really enjoyed it and taken to the responsibility of captain.
He recently made his 100th appearance in the loss to Ealing. Been a long-time servant of the club. Former Jersey man.
Talking to Paul Tupai about him as well. He said he's not, he looks a bit willowy. He said, but he's strong. He really is aggressive. Likes to take the ball up and on cue. There he is, sets it up well, and now it's Bedford's time now, round the corner, one after another.
It's a good job we put that earpiece in him, isn't it? He knew those were his lines. Here come Bedford. Will Carrick-Smith takes it on. Burns again, just flirts with the short side and then goes round the fringes. Oh, Vieira's tackle was good enough for him to dislodge the ball, but it's gone backwards.
Turned over that.
It's been turned over indeed. Rotherham now with it, through the hands of Williams. Ryan, he's threatening on that gain line. Certainly wants to be proven to be a little bit less predictable than Lee Miller, who's on the bench. Rotherham again through Shields. 6th consecutive start for the Titans, new this season. Vieira.
Well, Rotherham playing with a high intensity, you've got to give him that, and I think you're right, Caelan Ryan is what a break.
Breakthrough here from Toby Williams. Up to the halfway, oh now then, the ball's got knocked forwards. Vieira was, I think, almost appealing a sense of a high challenge, but there's nobody at the back for Rotherham currently, and the chase is on. Ian Adamson, he's got serious wheels, but that's nicely plucked out of the air by Ben Foley, who's under the chase of Elliot Clements-Hill. Foley chips it through. Oh, that's a nice little bit of footballing skill, isn't it? And the tackle's made. That one might have been high. And the net result is a penalty to Bedford, pretty much back where the scrum was.
Well, it was an exciting game. Seatbelt tackle called. The Bourgeois playing like some of the England international football team should be playing at the moment.
Well,
I'm led to believe. I didn't see the game. They weren't very good apparently, but that was a lovely bit of skill.
Yeah, white on the
well, it was a lovely bit of skill because Jordan Burns was behind him. I'm not sure Le Bourgeois was ready to catch it himself, but
a good break originally from Jordan Burns. He's sniping around. Obviously, you've got Lee Dixon on the bench. You'll see Lee with all his experience, England experience, Northampton Saints, and I said a couple of weeks ago, it's nice to see these type of players coming down into the championship. Obviously, he sees his future in rugby as a player coach, and what a great place to come.
Bedford with the ball here. They haven't had a ton of possession in the Rotherham half, as Darren Morris says. Rotherham Titans' defence has really been the issue over the first 5 rounds. They can score, but they're leaking them at the same time, or leaking them at a quicker rate, and that's the issue. We haven't really seen the defence massively tested by Bedford so far in the opening, 9 or 10 minutes. Burns is trying to get them round the corner, looking for the option. He pops it up to Cooper. Go again.
Sorry, much better from the captain, Tom Calladine there. He really got off the line well. Now the Blues come again.
Another advantage being played. Ben Adams, 5th start of the season, but we're going back for the penalty. And this could be a first chance of points on the board for Harry Shepherd. What will Bedford decide to do here? play the simple things and go for the points,
Yeah.
or think that they're going to get more out of this side, so we'll really go for the tries?
No, I think they'll be very respectful. They knew Rotherham Titans would come out all week. Obviously, they've been disappointed with that result against Richmond at home.
Other scores on the doors. Bristol are 21-14 up against London Scottish, as you can see. Ealing leading Jersey by 7 points to 0. Tighter one at Hartpury with Doncaster Knights just with their noses in front. But we're scoreless here, and at Richmond, who are up against Yorkshire Carnegie. Harry Shepherd, 40 points for the season so far. Bagged himself a try last week against Jersey. Can he open his account? No problem at all. 3 points on the board for Bedford.
Yeah, good strike of the ball. 21-year-old England student, ex-London Scottish, striking it superbly well and paying due respect to Rotherham Titans. It was going to be a hard game. Obviously, as I said, they've got the British and Irish Cup to try and put some sort of sticking plasters over their atrocious start to the season. But they've come out well. If they can just hold on to the ball.
Ryan with the restart. Just had a longing look at it as it came down. Chase from the forwards might have been a little harder, but Bedford have got it. Now they're trying to play out the back. Stepping through is Chris Chekai, Welsh international. And it's away from Burns. Oh, and nearly a chance for Harry Shepherd to get through, and he has managed to pop the ball up for George Edson, and Edson's got Burns back on his shoulder, and Burns will finish off the try. Scintillating score from Bedford, and they push the door open.
No, that was well taken. Again, the line speed is there this week from Rotherham Titans. Unfortunately, the holes are still there as well. Great break. Good support, you've got to say, from George Edson. Talking to Martin Hines, the forwards coach. They've been looking to give this guy a start. Tom Lindsay's obviously arrived. Very experienced hooker. But that's a great break, great finish from the scrum half, Jordan Burns. But really, it was good play by, like I said, George Edson after a horrendous leg injury against, well, 4 Wasps. He's come back, he's done his pre-season, and he's just shredded the Rotherham defence. Again, it was a good start from Rotherham, but again, the holes are just appearing. And this guy, Harry Shepherd, not only with the ball on the floor, the ball in hand, he's pretty good.
Shepherd managing to get that offload away to Edson.
Beautiful.
And he'll convert the try that he set up.
And there you go. That's a beautiful offload from Harry Shepherd. And then it's a good way for all. Just don't get isolated, don't fall with the ball, just wait for the call to come. The call came from the scrum half. That's a good try.
With the restart again. Bedford go for a more traditional exit, but it's one that takes them just straight down the field. Ryan initially getting it away to Grange, but Grange says you can have it back and attack down that side with Will Thomas. And Thomas isn't initially held in the tackle. Jordan Burns was in there trying to effect the turnover. Now they release it out the back again. Ryan, they might have a little bit of numbers here if they could just straighten, but Rich Lane was well positioned there, just putting the pressure on defensively. Ooh, that's a little bit of a wild pass, but Ryan has done well to gather it. Now they've whipped it out wide here. They had a penalty advantage coming, but well, they say you have to earn the right to go wide there. I'm not quite sure that's
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they knew the pen was coming, but you can see how easy it is for Bedford Blues. They're trying to get round the edge of Rotherham Titans, but there's plenty of men, and a bad pass then from the scrum half and one whippy pass out. All that does is allow a defensive line just to set themselves even more, just stretch across the field. But they had the penalty, now they've got an opportunity. Their line-out's working very, very well. I think catch and drive will be the order of the day.
Yeah,
see what the call is from the backs off that.
Thanks, mate.
Rotherham, decent spells of possession, but one glance at the scoreboard, 10 points down, 15 minutes played.
Well, it is going to be 6 in the line out. You had Dan George standing in the scrum half position. It always goes where a forward stands, and now it's up to the donkeys.
Adam Peters with the jump, and he's ended up getting it at the back, and now there's a penalty advantage to the Titans. Still 20 metres to go.
Well, it's a play for nothing, really. They can still have a go, get the penalty, kick it into the corner, get closer to the line. I'm sure that's what they'll do.
Adam Ryan comes in. Have a little look.
A good time to score here for Rotherham. They've rolled their sleeves up this afternoon so far. Just 16 minutes into it. And the precision hasn't been quite there. They'll be very purposeful, and they've decided now go with the forwards again. All about the communication.
Get in, lads. Get in line, please.
You see Dan George standing in the scrum half's place. Like I said, it normally goes in the line-out where he's with the forward stands. There you go.
Into low. And they get themselves organised to get this drive on. Rotherham.
Good, seems a good set. They've just got to get him moving.
Get it round that left-hand corner, because you can see more of the Bedford bodies are on this near side, and on the far side Rotherham are still getting go forward. The main concern is, has anyone in there got the ball? It had already splintered. It's turnover ball for Bedford at a crucial moment.
I think it's the second round of Jaffe. 4 was always legal, you can hear that.
Taken in by White, not used.
Referee John Meredith saying, as long as you come through the middle, you can get at the ball carrier, and that's exactly what's happened. And again, that's another opportunity missed from Rotherham Titans. See the big number 4 with a cap on. He's going right through the middle. He'd be talking to the referee all the time, which is also a good thing to do. So if the referee had any doubt whatsoever, he said, I'm here, ref, I'm going through the middle. He gets there, and as Rotherham try and slip the ball back or move it back to one man, he's over top of the man.
Crouch.
Stopping that ball getting to ground, the key decision there, isn't it?
Bind.
Key work of 22-year-old second row. Time with the Saints Academy and Jeffrey.
Stay close to the scrum.
2 good scrummaging packs out there. That's not moving at all for Burns. That's what he doesn't need. 1 out. The Bourgeois take it in, set, and then exit.
Shepherd was a little too far involved in that, so they weren't able to find him to release the ball for the clearance. They've actually now gone pretty flat, and they're going to leave it to Burns, who hasn't found touch. Jake Henry, former Plymouth man, just scragged in the tackle, and there's appreciation of the defensive effort from the shed on the far side. Rotherham just holding that ball up in the tackle. Dan Grange looking to release it. Caelan Ryan held it up for a moment as well.
You look how far they're taking that ball behind the gain line. It's so easy for Bedford Blues just to watch where the ball has been passed to and then tackle.
Vieira is looking for that opportunity to snipe. A little bit of a fend from Luke Peters. Not enough Rotherham shirts looking to run onto this at pace.
It's a good hit for Alex Ray. They're delighted to have him back, signing in his second stint to the Bedford Blues.
Ryan again. Now they really had a 3-on-2 right down below us. And Foley is having to help protect. Bedford throwing their bodies at it. Rotherham grab an extra metre or 2. Ryan releasing that again out the back. He's got a whip of a pass on him, and then that ball's nicely floated, but it's just floated forwards again. It's going to be one of those ones where it almost might look like the hands go backwards. It was right in line with our cameras.
I'm right in line with it, and I think that's gone forward. But again, it's so much good work done by Rotherham, and all of a sudden they just pull it back. Oh, we'll have a look.
Good standard so far.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
It is forward. They go through the phases pretty well, Titans, and it's just, again, the final pass, the final decision.
Now back about that.
Space so that we're not overbalancing on the bind. I think so.
Referee indulging in a bit of technical chat with the 2 front rows.
There's a cheeky little blindside here for Burns, if he fancies it. If he's tight, they can give him a little nudge up on that right-hand side, opens it up a little bit.
Clements Hill.
Clements Hill, he's pretty fleet of foot.
Crouch!
Old 8-9-14.
Bind. Set.
Fourth start on the wing for Clemens Hill. The Blackman started the first two of the season.
Well, Jake Henry's standing a long way back for the Rotherham on that left wing. He's fancying it, he's fancying it. Here they go.
He's looking like a man in the blocks, isn't he? Little chip through, hasn't quite worked out. No one's getting their hands on it. Eventually they do. And it's Rotherham through Grange. Takes possession. Ryan. If they could commit men. It's a lot of shipping of the ball from Rotherham here. And all they've done there is isolate the last man and made it very difficult for Ben Foley to do anything. Because Dean Adamson was right up in his face.
Well, Patton Hospital come to mind. Wasn't quite a suicidal ball as that, but again, it's so easy to read.
Yeah, opts for a different tack, goes for the high bomb. Adamson takes it well, and then turns away from the first tackle as the chase is on from Calladine. He's done well. Suggestion of a high tackle there, but I think he might have just moved his arm.
Well, if the one had been given before for a seatbelt tackle, that was definitely it. But again, no one got hurt. It wasn't malicious. Let's play on.
Play on off his knee.
Shepherd with the chip through. Caelan Ryan has popped that one up. A little bit of miscommunication, and Burns and Lane just colliding. The Bourgeois steps back inside, looks for that offload on the shoulder. Burns is quickly there to try and whip it away. He's had to sacrifice himself in terms of taking it to ground, but then it's on again from Alex Ray. Burns again. Oh, that was quite a fend.
Jared Williams.
Was that a fend with a closed fist?
Then he lost.
Not an accusation, but certainly looked quite the collision.
Next, Doncaster, Yorkshire.
The second time you went shortly your own body weight.
Making his presence felt. Everything just calms down a little bit now.
Keep scanning. Backstep offside. Scrumbly.
Yeah, let's go. Come on. Go on in, Riser. Seconds. Hold me back. 2.
Don't forget, you can keep in touch with us wherever you're watching. Get onto Twitter. Send us a message, #ChampRugby, whether you're cheering on Bedford Blues, Rotherham Titans, whether you're just a Championship Rugby fan, watching on the championshiprugby.co.uk website, on englandrugby.com, wherever you are across the world. Let us know where you're tuning in. Great to know what you're up to, why you're supporting these sides. You could be an expat in far-flung fields watching this on Facebook. Love to hear from you. 10 points between the sides. Bedford, comfortable lead in the opening 23 minutes. Oh, referee, it was a little whistle to begin with, and then he decided he'd straight arm this one. He's losing his patience with the Rotherham front row.
Well, Martin Hines and Paul Tupay enjoying that. I think the call did come from the touch judge over the far side. Shepherd will go into that corner. It's a great old ground, isn't it? It slopes all the way down there. And those Bedford forwards, the call will be going through there now. They don't want to let Rotherham out without a score.
Is yours, please?
Well, they'll certainly be hoping that that penalty, this kick into the corner, and this line-out lead to a 7-pointer. Can they make it work? Ray with the jump. Penalty, Rotherham.
Long arm transfer, you've got people in front.
People in front of the transfer as they tried to get it back. Well, that wasn't accurate, and it's a lift off for the Titans.
And it's what sides try and do almost every time, and it all depends whether the referee sees. They get two blockers in front of the guy coming up, so when he hits the floor, no defence can get to him. You've got to get up, get down, and then transfer the ball without any blockers. Good kick. Relieved the pressure. Absorbed it. There you go.
It's difficult to see what the referee spotted there, isn't it?
It wasn't what I saw initially first time, but we'll have to go with what he said.
Well, Rotherham from that advantage, sorry Dowie, have just thrown the line out not straight.
Red, just red.
And they're getting to a point where they're not helping themselves here.
Surely it's a public beating as well.
Yeah, well, they are playing up the slope. I think the wind is slightly against them as well, so they should have a little bit of the elements in the second half, but they need to get a score. John Burns has started this game pretty well at 9. Again, Jared Williams and Burns were maybe favouring that blind side. They kicked the ball away, but Clement Hill is standing right behind the scrum. He's moved Shepherd into almost an inside centre role. The Bourgeois is just outside him, so they're stacking heavily left, which is the old bluff. Oh dear, here we go. Hadn't used any mouthwash this morning.
There's a few grown men arguing over who's got the nicest handbag.
When the whistle's gone, we don't push any further, okay? Yeah. And then we don't react like that. All right? We have a scrum reset. We'll come this
Ollie
side.
Taylor getting in touch with us, streaming the Blues from Nuremberg. Hashtag long distance relationship. Lovely to hear that, Ollie.
Here we go.
Put yourself in the spread.
We saw that pick from Williams last time and on to Burns.
Well, it's on again because the Rotherham left winger is still far too deep. I know why he's there, for the little chip over the top. They're going to come left.
Clement Hill in off that right wing. Look to give the little dummy to Le Bourgeois, but Rotherham weren't buying it, and they've managed to earn themselves a penalty. The neck roll.
I appreciate that's something you might get aggravated about, but we don't need to shout about it. Okay.
Good refereeing. Ben Adams, that was the better. So Tom Calladine was just asking the referee, did you see it? Yeah, I did see it. I've just given the penalty for it. I don't need your help. But again, I think it's a one of those good sort of rule changes that has happened, that when you're trying to move somebody away from a ruck, you cannot grab the head. You've got to go on the shoulders. Another chance again for Rotherham.
Yeah, thanks.
Moving up the ground.
The end of the white line, please.
Could just see it maybe through the ref's mic there. Jordan Burns, as he ran back for this line out, saying, come on lads, we need some energy.
Yeah. Well, the bookies had the Blues 24 points favourites, and that's right. Clement Hill, he's had very little ball on that right hand side. He's decided to stand in at 10, take it over, and then you can see it's 2 sevens against 7. It was Ben Adams taking Calladine off the ball, as sevens do, but illegally with the head roll. Now the Titans on the attack.
Luke Cole knew that he had to get that right in terms of the line out, because he was being eagerly watched by the referee, having given it as not straight before, but now the chip through is from Ben Foley. And he's got to let Clement Hill up, which he does, and puts him to the deck. He was the first man there to try and ruck through, but now Bedford have got a little bit more time.
Clement Hill did superbly well there, tracking from obviously his right wing on to the left. And there's Burns using his left foot. He's very left-footed with the box kick. And into the burger stand. Hopefully no one dropped anything.
I hope not my burger.
Half-time, it's not there quite yet, but yeah, it just needs something to set it going. Maybe a Titans try would do that. They've been huffing and puffing.
They've certainly spent a fair amount of time in the Bedford half, holding on to possession.
And there's the burger stand. We'll be in there at half-time. The old barn. No beers, just the burger. Back to type, back to the set.
But once again, they're setting these a fair way out. They are getting a bit of go forward, and referee Meredith happy enough with it for now. But Vieira is eyeing up the chance to get this out.
But I would tell the Portuguese lad to keep that in there. Go to the corner again. If a penalty happens, you're closer to the corner. But again, it's not stopping. They've got 2 chances. I don't think he's even called the first time.
No, he hasn't. But Vieira's going to get it away anyway. Oh, and they made the dummy of players coming through the middle, and then it's been knocked on. And you do wonder why they needed to release it.
They didn't need to release it, and that's unfortunate. The experience of Francisco Vieira. He's in, obviously, for Rodri Davis, who got injured against Richmond. Player of the month for them, so you can see how important Rodri Davis is. But you keep this moving forward, you keep this going forward. like I said, the referee hasn't even asked you once. The call has come, you override the call. But that's the inexperience. And when the ball comes out, he puts it on the floor. It's a very difficult ball then to pick up. And all that effort comes to nothing once again. So it's those simple errors, those silly mistakes that are hurting Rotherham at the moment, because they're well in this game with possession and territory.
Just the one try for Bedford Blues so far. Scored by Jordan Burns after the initial break from Shepherd. 9 and 10 combining with George Edson adding the yards. Now you can see Burns with more experience looking at the referee saying, is that arm going to go up?
And that's come again from Jared Williams and the whole Bedford 8, because you would think from a Rotherham point of view, as long as we hit him well, they're going to kick this away. They didn't. They second shoved, got a penalty, gained themselves 30 metres, and they get the put in at the the throw in at the line out. That is very, very intelligent play from the Bedford 8.
Just a little change of body language from Rotherham after that as well, isn't there? Just a slight one.
Yeah, you've been outdone in a sense. You've again done some great stuff up there. You've used the ball that you should never have used, and look where it is now. It's Bedford on the attack again. That's beautiful.
Burns releases it out the back, but it managed to find Dean Adamson, and Adams is away. Clements Hill will pick up the scraps.
Ball's available.
22-yard line. Ben Adams. They're looking for it again. Edgson. One clean break today. I'll fancy another. Burns under plenty of pressure. Ball went backwards. Oh, and now breaking straight through the gap. Burns on the shoulder again. It's Williams to Burns, and it's Burns' second score and Bedford's second score. When it breaks, it's happening so easily.
Yeah, it's just good play. No one's rushing, no one's losing. You know, it's just good play. They don't get too excited. They just wait for it to recycle. They put the big guy there, Jared Williams, onto the ball. He knows there's going to be sorts of support inside. Burns has played superbly well. Edson obviously made that break for Burns' first score, and then it's just recycle the ball. And they don't panic, the precision is there, the big call comes out, and again, I talked about those holes from Rotherham. The line speed, you've got to say, is good, but again, you're becoming dog-legged now, as every good 9 is going forward. He's just behind the ball carrier, waiting for the ball carrier to make that decision. The decision was back inside, and it's easy. Those 2 scores for Burns are tremendously easy. The effort is there from Rotherham, but unfortunately, when you start losing, it becomes a habit. And when you go up in line speed, when you say you've got to up the line speed, sometimes people don't come with you. That holes open up, and this guy will exploit that on the shoulder of his number 8. And from 10-0, 17-0, oh dear, it's a harsh game, isn't it?
3 out of 3 for Shepherd, slotting the conversion from right in front of the post as you watch those replays. So 17-0. Bedford have it. Little charge down, but it's only ended up back in a Bedford hand. It just went forward there.
Well, that just may be a strike of luck for Rotherham.
I mean, Rotherham's issue has been getting scored against when they score. Can they turn that into a Bedford issue now?
They've proved they can score tries. Again, it almost is the heads down. They're pushing the ball. I mean, that was the big fella, Brian Hodge, trying to put the forward. But again, you have the experience of these guys and make you pay. But an opportunity now. Rotherham, well, they have to get something out of this first half. They have to get something out now. Split 4-2, 2 on the right-hand side. Again, the scrum's been pretty good. Fancy a little 9 coming around this edge. Will Thomas, Ben Foley's a big, strong fella here. He could come off this wing and cause some damage.
It's interesting defensively. Clements Hill has pulled in a little bit, trying to put that pressure on in those narrow channels. He's almost not worrying too much about Ben Foley. Jake Henry over on that far side.
You see Matt Shields, the tight head here from Rotherham. He is a big fella.
I'm with you, yeah. He's got
6'4", 124 kilograms. That's Carl Heyman. Franny Cotton size that for a Titan, so he should have plenty of oomph coming here. And again, all he wants, Vieira, if he is going to come this right hand side, is your tight head just to bore in a little bit.
Getting pre-engaged. If I go that side, it happens on this side. When I'm standing this side, I get.
You don't say, referee.
We're playing hide and seek from the referee here, aren't we?
When it goes that side, you don't. You do exactly the opposite to the other side. Yeah, well, that's the front row for you. Does he think they believe anything that he says?
Do you think the next development in refereeing, you know, they've got all these drones, maybe they'll just hover a referee above a scrum so that he can see both sides at the same time?
We've got 4.
I understand World Rugby are trialling it in the Southern Hemisphere.
Really? Oh, no, you can't. I'd believe anything with World Rugby. I think they've got their problems to solve this breakdown at the moment, and more people getting injured. Anyway, here we go.
Vieira off to Ryan. Ryan fires it out. Then it's a simple little wraparound on the outside. Nothing too complicated from Rotherham. And Bedford have the numbers to track it. Now they pop it back up for Peters. Little shorter pass. It was a low one. It was well taken in the end. Vieira's service has been a little bit up and down. There is the big man Shields. Ryan back to the left. Then there's an opportunity back inside for Peters in his debut season. Picked up Adam Peters from Richmond. Would have been frustrated to be on the receiving end of that Richmond result last week. Vieira, Cale and Ryan. He's looking to try and open something up, but it's a lot of the same from Cale and Ryan so far.
They're putting the ball back inside so they don't get isolated, so it gives their forwards a target when the centres crash in. But again, the only thing it doesn't do is stretch the Bedford defence. It's very placid for them. They can just go across the field. Somebody really needs to stand up. And then another shocking pass from the 9, and the only option from Ryan is to kick the ball away. So
Bedford will have the line out. It's been a story of the first half.
Yeah, it has, and you know, you don't bang on about it because they've had territory, they've had plenty of ball. It's what you do with it.
Just hold the 2 minutes.
Can they put some pressure on the Blues line out? Can they nick something with 2 minutes to go? No, they don't even compete. So you know, you're not giving yourself a chance. You have to compete there. I don't get that one at all. I really do not get that at all.
But you've certainly got to force a home side with a defensive line out to have to work for it, and they get the penalty easily.
Well, look, if you're going to lose it, you chuck somebody up. You check him up until you get in the hooker's face. You do something. Look, you're 5 losses on the spin here. You're 17 points down. And Bedford haven't had much ball. They haven't played well. They've taken their tries superbly well. Their precision has been good, but that's again, I can't work that one out.
Make sure they come to you.
Solid enough touch finder.
Don't get them to come to you. Step out. End of the white line,
Clock
please.
shows a minute till half time. We'll be on the referee's whistle and watch.
I think I felt a little bit of rain there. Hopefully it's not going to come and dampen what we're seeing.
Play on.
It's away for Bedford on the halfway line. Shepherd, the bourgeois, stepping straight through, manages to force his way out of one tackle. That's good strength, but all he's done is throw it into the hands of Luke Peters. Brilliant from Le Bourgeois. Skipper showing real determination to get through. He's got great strength for a man that, well, amongst a few big lumps around him, doesn't look that big.
He likes to break that first tackle every time if he can, but he's got good vision. That time his vision wasn't good. You've got to say Peters did well. He got himself between, obviously, Le Bourgeois and his supporting runners. Probably called as well, which players do for the ball. But again, you could almost say try-saving tackle. But Le Bourgeois has grown into this role of captain and midfield. Everything seems to go through him, defensive as well as attackingly. He's got good distribution, that sort of second receiver that England like to use so much. Time's up now, the referee said. Here they go, one last play.
Around the corner. Oh, this is looking agonising.
Brilliant.
If you're a Rotherham Titans fan, it's Adamson who finishes it off.
Just too easy, Nick, isn't it? I mean, again, it's just a very simple run off the back of the line by the big number 8, Williams, into the midfield, and then just simple hands.
Yeah, make sure the person he's offloading to comes.
Worryingly for Rotherham, when Dean Adamson scores 1, he tends to score 2 so far this season.
Again, it's coming through the Burns-Humphreys sort of access there. There's a dummy runner in the midfield that just holds the Rotherham defence, and then there's 2 guys popping up. You've got Dean Adamson, you know, from the left wing popping up onto the right wing. That's great hands from Humphreys.
At that point, isn't he?
Absolutely, and you think Chris Checkau is going to go all the way, but no, he knows the calls inside, he knows the supports inside, and like I said, left to right doesn't really matter. They've probably had, I think, 3 opportunities to score, and they've scored 3 tries. So they're well on their way to a 5-pointer here. And it's going to be a difficult 40 minutes for Rotherham.
No problem from Shepherd. And the referee says that'll do us for the first half. It's 4 out of 4 for Harry Shepherd. 100% record from him. And going into the dressing rooms at half-time, it's Bedford Blues 24, Rotherham Titans 0. And there's going to be some, well, tough words for Andy Key to say here to his men. So half-time score, 24 points to 0 to Bedford Blues. There's plenty of characters throughout the Greene King IPA Championship. Of course, we saw Dowie Morris talking to Paul Tupai, who's in his final, his testimonial year. But rugby is a game for all, and he's got 11 caps for England Deaf. He's playing his rugby at Hartpury RFC. Let's find out a little bit more about Matt Gilbert.
I started playing when I was 7. What I liked about rugby was just, you know, the physicality of it. You know, a bigger lad than most other kids at 7 years old, so, you know, it's quite natural for me to just get the ball and run to everyone. I came here as a student when I was 19, so back in 2005, 2006. Spent 4 years at Hartpury as a student. Obviously, after, you know, left uni, I went to Italy for a year, and then I ended up going to West Wales and came for class training in Scarlets. Got diagnosed when I was like 5 years old. That's when I first started wearing a hearing aid. In my sort of memories of my childhood, there's no defining moment where I was like, oh, I went from, you know, not having hearing aid to having hearing aids. You know, it's just always been part of my dogma, and it's just part of who I am now. My hearing loss has gradually got worse, but you know, I'm a big believer in your own self, and you know, you have to have self-belief. Having a sort of a disability, having a hearing loss, is, you know, wanted me to prove people that, you know, I can do things, and you know, I think I never really noticed it too much, but you know, people do doubt you. But as a deaf person, you can achieve things in life. We're privileged to be here in Championship, and everyone respects the impact that everyone before us has had. You know, obviously it's been a 12-year journey to get to Championship. As a group, we know we've got the capability to compete, and it's been physical, it's been intense, and you know, something that we're getting used to every week, and something we're actually bringing a lot more physicality to the game than we did last year in National 1. So you know, we just got to keep bringing that every week. But you know, we're doing all right. I'm not the oldest, but you know, the boys like to remind me that I look older than everyone else. But you know, I feel like I've still got, you know, 3 or 4 years left in me. But you know, when you get to sort of, you know, into your 30s, toward the end of your career, you need to look at how you're going to earn a living after. And so I spent 6 weeks in the off-season converting an old horse trailer, and yeah, so I ended up with the Galloping Bristol. I don't drink coffee myself personally, but you know, the feedback is that it's, you know, it's very nice, and you know, at the moment, you know, Gavin Bristol's going well, and you know, if I can turn that into something, you know, bigger and better, then you know, that would be a nice sort of way to work.
And I can testify, it is fantastic coffee. I went down there before Hartpury played Bristol, and he's a top bloke anyway, but he's doing a top job. So anyone's a good travelling barista, you know where to go.
There you go. 3 tries in the first half here at Goldington Road. Bedford Blues expected to be in charge of this one, and that's how it's turned out so far. But Rotherham with plenty of possession, plenty of territory. Let's have a little look at the scores that have gone down so far.
And it's the problem with Rotherham Titans. It's a microcosm almost of this season. Again, the one thing that has happened is their line speed. The line speed's been up today. Unfortunately, they've let people come through the middle, and that was a good offload from Shepherd, then to the hooker, Edgerson, and finished off by Burns, who's been a live wire around the breaks and fringes. And that's what happens. Is again, when you're not quite together, you're close enough. You can see Edgerson then just coming on the ball beautifully, no problem at all. And you've got to read that. You've got to think, right, you know, do your analysis. You know, Shepherd likes to use get through the gaps. You know, he likes to offload. You've got to get in there and get your body between him and the guy receiving the pass. Here he goes. The calls come up, and boom, straight a beautiful angle.
Beautiful offload as well.
It's a great offload. But it's not risky, and it's nice to see this lad again. He had a serious injury while playing for Wasp. He's been given his chance now to start, and that's some impact. And like I said, every good 9, they're just following up, dusting off. What a good break it was.
Burns and Shepherd are very much leading that battle of the halfbacks, aren't they?
Yeah, again, look, your 9 and 10 should lead the side. You should be telling your people in front of exactly what you want, like your big 8 there. Again, it's another jump out of the line situation from Rotherham. Jared Williams, who's heads down, the ball comes out. He isn't actually in control at the time, Burns, but by doing that, the 2 second rows, you can see his head's down onto the ruck. It's too late. The ball's gone moved to the right hand side. Big run from Jared Williams. He hasn't had to do much at all. It's a massive gap to go through. And again, it's all about the communication and your strategy when you're setting your D.
Jordan Burns, 2 tries already this season. He's added another 2 to the 2 that he got against Bristol. Sorry, 3 tries he's already had. He got 2 against Bristol.
And this was, again, the killer blow, really, from a Rotherham point of view. I was saying they're huffing and puffing, and they've got in the position up there. And again, it was just the precision lets them down, or a bad call. Bedford get 1 line out. They come off the back. A great hand from Shepherd, the 10. A few decoy runners. You've got Adamson coming in from his left wing to his right. This is just simple rugby. This is good. This is what a 10 will do, a good quality 10 will do all day. Drag the man, and you can see the dog leg happening there. Your checker, you think he's going to go through. The call comes inside. It's just very good, simple rugby, but it's what you practice week in, week out on the training paddock. That's a set move, and it became too easy. In the end, it became too easy. When Rotherham needed a score, they've leaked another one. There you go, hands. You've got Burns running round into sort of fly half, inside half area. The winger's there. You've got Clement Hills on the right-hand side if you want to use him. The defence goes off to him. Again, that's another decoy, or it's an option. And then Checker, with all his experience, you know, with Wales and the Cardiff Blues, can just pick his time and just pop it back inside.
Regular viewers of the EnglandRugby.com stream, I know that I play a fair bit of touch, and that last little move there is just very, very simply about attracting that last man and getting the ball away. And we saw quite a few times with the amount of possession and territory that Rotherham had during that first half, they were shipping the ball 10 metres away from the Bedford defensive line, which just wasn't giving them any draw on a man and any opportunity to try and create space.
You don't
on the
want to be. Look, the guys, they're great. I've been talking to Tony, the press guy, and Andy Key, and look, they can't fault the energy and the desire and the willingness to do it, and you can see that from the way they started the game. Unfortunately, you've got to have your strategy and you've got to have your specifics about you on the pitch. There was one instance up there with Vieira. He's not experienced. He's not as experienced scrum half in even the championship level, but you're moving forward with a maul from a line out, which has been one of their big strengths. Keep it moving. you've got to have an 8 then to tell him, no, you're not having this ball or whatever. And when he pops the ball out, it goes on the floor and just compounds things. And that's the problem. They've had possession, they haven't had precision.
No, indeed. You can see the rain is just beginning to fall here. We've got a nice big grey cloud just over us.
Lovely.
And, our wonderful assistants are prepping an umbrella or two to find out if we might need those, which is good to see just out of shot. We've got plenty of games, of course, on the live stream for you. We're in the Greene King IPA Championship. We've got the Tyrrell's Premier 15s. We've got internationals coming up as well. And, of course, the women's game is continuing to grow from strength to strength. And, well, here's a little video to show you just how good the game is. Here are a few of my favourite things.
Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favourite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favourite things, and then I don't feel so bad.
So, England women so close in that Women's Rugby World Cup final. But they weren't able to overcome the Black Ferns. But it's back to the start of the next 4-year cycle, and they're taking on Canada over a 3-match series this November. And we will be streaming that live game on the 17th of November, a 7:30 kickoff from Allianz Park. But you can get tickets to all of these games at englandrugby.com/tickets. It would be great to see continued support of the women's side. And it's worth noting as well, of course, that game, match 3 on Saturday the 25th of November, well, you can get into that one for free because it's after the men's game against Samoa. So if you fancy getting in to HQ to watch the England women's side without having to pay a penny, well, you can come in when the gates are open at the end of that match. But get your tickets for Friday the 17th of November and Tuesday the 21st of November, englandrugby.com/tickets. Be great to give the Red Roses your support. And as I said, plenty more coming here on the live streams. In a couple of weeks, well, we will be down at Gloucester. Gloucester Hartpury women will take on Saracens in the Tyrrell's Premier 15s. And then it's the long journey down to Penzance for Cornish Pirates against Hartpury College. Tom May joining us for that one. And then there's that international England women against Canada women on the 17th of November. On the same weekend, on the Sunday, we dip back into the Greene King IPA Championship for Nottingham against Ealing Trailfinders. Friday the 24th of November. Or the 24th, sorry. Bedford against Hartpury College. We'll be back here at Goldington Road. And then at the beginning of December, the Ace Final and Champions Trophy Final. A little touch of the next generation coming through. And you can watch all of it on the England Rugby Facebook page. You get some updates on what else is going on in the Greene King IPA Championship in round 6. And Bristol, well, they're opening things up against London Scottish. They're 40 points to 14, first taking on 11th. Ealing against Jersey Reds, a little tighter affair, 14 points to 3. And Hartpury College 19, Doncaster Knights 27. Richmond are enjoying themselves against Yorkshire Carnegie, Dowie.
Could go for their 3rd win. They were delighted to get Jersey at home and obviously delighted to get Rotherham away. Those 2 victories, this would be a big scalp. This would see him up the mid-table, and that's a tremendous performance because those people that don't know, Richmond are purely run on an amateur basis.
So that's how things are looking in the rest of the league. So just as we wait the teams coming out, Dowie, what does Andy Key say?
Look, I believe he used the hairdryer treatment last week at home against Richmond. They probably deserved it there. I don't think they deserve it here. They've just got to. The spirit is here. The effort is there. They've got conditions in their favour. There is a little bit of a breeze coming down into that bottom corner. It's starting to rain, so that would obviously probably take the running game away from Bedford a little bit, so it actually should go into Rotherham's hands. I would keep Bedford down in that corner and try and squeeze him. It's going to be very difficult, but like I said at the beginning of this programme, if they could possibly score 4 tries, that's looking a little bit not the case at the moment, but or get within 7, get something out of this game to take into the next 2 games or so.
Don't forget, you can keep in touch with us wherever you're watching. We've heard from a couple of people, #ChampRugby. You could be watching in foreign climes, maybe you're just here in the UK and you're cheering on Bedford or Rotherham. The burger stand, incidentally, down here, Dowie, is doing a roaring trade.
Yes, unfortunately, I forgot we have to work at half-time, so it'll have to be at the end of the game. I'll treat you.
Thanks
we have got some brollies being brought, I'm sure, but my hair's unmanageable at the moment.
Well, indeed. I think even the rain is just beginning to desist for us. Yeah, it's as we just await the teams coming out. We were talking about that half-back battle, and obviously there has been the loss of Rodri Davis, and then Vieira coming in and working alongside Caelan Ryan. Those two are working on a new relationship, given it's their first start together, where you know there's obviously a lot more experience on the Bedford side of things.
There's a lot on the bench. Lee Dixon, obviously, with all his Northampton appearances, England appearances, that's who they can bring on. Look, you've got to play. You've got to deal with what you've got. Unfortunately, I think if you've got a young, inexperienced 9, you need somebody to stand up and actually say, someone of the forwards, you know, this is what we're going to do. If we are going to catch and drive, we're going to catch and drive. Okay, and we're going to buy a penalty to, you know, if the referee's, we're going to get in his ear and we're going to get into the corner and score somehow. And that's all they need to do is try and get some points on the ball. They've had plenty of sort of possession. It's just they just leak it away, and it's the communication. Whereas the 9 and 10 for Bedford are functioning very, very well because, again, they're used to each other. It's a work in progress for Rotherham, and unfortunately it's a hard work at the moment.
Well, Bedford, the first team out on the park. Got a brolly down.
I've got your brolly now. That's good, isn't it? Yeah. I can do loads of jobs.
Bedford first out then. They'll be very keen to tuck into the second half. Rotherham, well, they know they've got quite a job on their hands. £24 is by no means an unsurmountable task.
Well, it could kickstart this season, couldn't it? But again, it's a quite old ground. It's a traditional ground. You can see by your pictures, it all slopes from right to left into that corner, and that's where I'd be putting the ball. Forwards have split. I think that's it'll be very interesting to see where Caelan Ryan puts this ball.
Just a quick update on the Tyrrell's Premier 15s. Harlequins ladies, well, they're enjoying their season. 31-0. They're leading Darlington Moden Park, and Saracens women 30 points to 0 up as well. We're ready to get back underway here at Goldington Road. And our referee, John Meredith, signals for Caelan Ryan to swing the right peg.
Play on, backwards off blue.
And not initially held by...
But he puts it exactly where then they give the penalty away. But actually, that's the exact place where he needs to put it. And every opportunity, I wouldn't be trying to run it from my own half. It doesn't pay them any dividends in the first half. Play almost old-fashioned rugby, and if Bedford want to come out and play their all-court style, fine. It's up to them. They won't go away from the way they've been coached and the way they've approached the first half. It's up now to Rotherham to try and change something for them.
Conditions will be a little greasier now as well, which will just present a nice slightly new challenge for the players. It is light rain. It's not too heavy at the minute, but there are a few more grey clouds behind us, so interesting to see how that affects things.
I think it may have stopped.
Stay there, 9!
Bedford getting the drive on. Rotherham struggling to defend this, but they decide that they're going to go Bedford. Oh, it was just shipped forwards there.
Just lost forward off 9.
Dean Adamson doesn't want to be told to put the brakes on, but he'll come back because that was a little forward transfer.
And that's when you've got good communication from your 9. Obviously, Burns there was talking to his forwards. I couldn't quite see who's made the initial break around the corner. But again, just stickier conditions, didn't stick. But you see the potential and the threat that he poses just round that very close area to the ruck. Or the maul going forward, I should say. And that's what you need in the side. You need options all around you. You can have your forwards coming around the corner. You can have your forwards out. You can have your wingers coming off their wing, standing at 10. Have your 10 flat. There you go. Communicate. And it's the 2. It's the partners in crime. Edson again. Who set the first try up for Burns.
It's got to be Burns' first mistake, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's played well.
Dave, this is HIA, I believe.
So the referee confirms, believes it's an HIA.
I was reading somewhere in the week they got 3 minutes more.
Yeah.
Than the 10 minutes now to do some saliva. Am I right?
Indeed. Yeah, the study that's being done as to whether there can be any telltale signs in the saliva of a player who's taken a head knock that might require further analysis. And well, there's an agreement that players will be, the medics will be allowed up to an extra 3 minutes on top of the 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be a good thing, so they're not rushing a player on if they haven't actually sorted him out.
There's Dan Grange, who's left the field, just being led away. Vieira, looking to the left.
Thanks, mate, thanks.
Then Shields.
Stay there, 3.
And Postlethwaite is the man on, incidentally.
That's better.
There is Postlethwaite. Slightly early onto the field than he may have expected, but a couple of solid carries already. Vieira seem to be attacking more in little pods of 2s and 3s the start of this second half, as Vieira gets it away to the right again, and Barker looks to try and get it out the back, but it's gone forwards again. And well, at times it's basics that aren't happening for Rotherham.
It is the basics, and that's the third time a movement has broken down. 2 in the first half with forward passes, and now 1 there. And again, that's all about a timing situation. It's all about a confidence situation. Paul Tupai looks on, and, you know, Jake Henry just coming off his wing again, giving an option but overrunning the ball. All these things, it's annoying because, you know, a move has been called, obviously you know who's coming there, but if he's in front, don't give him the ball. You know, do something else, just recycle.
Like Neo. I'm like Neo, see everything. I'm like Neo, I see everything.
Am I hearing that right? The referee has just referred to himself as Neo from The Matrix. I'm like Neo, I see everything. That is a very brave statement.
It's a very old film as well, isn't it?
It's a very brave statement for a referee to make, is it not?
Oh, right, Your Honour.
I'm sure Darry Morris can take you in the trunk, sir, and show you the few things you didn't spot.
The next time you make a mistake, be afraid, be very afraid.
Oi, Neo.
Gosh alive.
Nigel Owens' repartee is not under threat.
I like characters in the game, but that was a...
No, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Just get yourselves in a space, you're not left.
You live and die by them, though.
Burns waits to put this one in.
Set.
24 points on the board, scored in the first half through 3 tries from Bedford. Harry Shepherd, exemplary with the boot so far today as well, with that early penalty and then all the conversions. Here come Bedford. That's nice. Oh, it was out the back for Adamson, but is there a chance on the turnover for Rotherham? Luke Peters doesn't want to get himself isolated. If he could have managed to get that ball away back inside, he might have stood a chance. I think this was just a tackle to begin with. The referee says play on. Bedford have ended up with it back in their hands. Ben Adams comes forwards. Byron Hodge with the tackle. Oh, it's loose from Burns. He was under plenty of pressure, and that has just gone forward, so Rotherham will have possession, and Adam Peters is pleased with the effort of his forwards there.
Yeah, first mistake, and he would have thought that was the fourth Bedford try going to be. Again, it's beautiful hands from Shepherd to Burns. That's good skill. And then it's just, again, slightly overrun from Dean Adamson. Luke Peters runs away with it, but again, he's not going to go all that way.
What's the problem, guys? Let's go.
He's a big fella, but he's not the quickest in terms of that straight line speed, is he?
Luke Peters, I mean, he was scoring a try, didn't he, for Ealing last season, and when they beat Yorkshire up there, but they didn't. Unfortunately, the first leg, Yorkshire scored too many points, but he's a big unit.
He'll be pleased he's made it this far today. He once broke his leg in a warm-up, broke his ankle. He'll be delighted to have made
I'd love to see that warm-up.
to 45 minutes.
Warm up to a warm down. Oh dear.
Both sets are straight across.
He's studying at Leeds Beckett, and that's why he's aligned himself with Rotherham. And what they're going to do here, they've packed 3 on this left-hand side. Vieira has got options.
Separation, both sides.
Jake Henry over here, Caelan Ryan is the man.
Well, the 9's looking at his 10.
He's lurking on this side. Will Ryan switch to that open side?
played away by
Is it going to be a pick from Grange? It's Peters in the end, and then it comes back to Peters. Had to stoop low to get it, but did well and holds on to possession.
Never on the ball. Blue was never on the ball.
Vieira found Toby Williams. Now they're firing it wider. Luke Cole plays it back inside. It was tapped down there from Elliot Clements Hill. It's just a knock-on. It was just in the tackle, despite the appeals and protestations of the Titans' backs.
Yeah, made a decision to come in there, did Clements Hill, and made the right decision. I think there was cover coming across for the Blues anyway, but
I had problems to my side as well.
that's what happens with the rush defence. It's risk or reward.
I'll give that message.
I have to say, I've just witnessed something from the burger stand next to us.
You're desperate for a burger, aren't you?
It's the tomato sauce is hanging from a teat.
It's an old Bedford tradition.
It's quite something.
If you score 3 tries, you've got to finish that down in 1. So Burns better watch himself here. But again, we jest, but this is the game is going away from Rotherham. They need something to happen, and they need something to happen quickly.
Peters is working from the 8 position here at these scrums to get that ball away. Jake Henry in from the left-hand wing. Now they might have a few numbers right, but they're not drawing the defenders as they need to. Rotherham, they were going a little bit wide before they'd straightened, and Bedford were in trouble with numbers on that far side for a moment. They've got themselves reset here, but Rotherham still coming forward. Vieira plays it back in for Williams.
Good carry, great carry.
Good dirty work, isn't it?
Didn't survive the clear-out.
Vieira on for Cole. Cole with support from Shields. Cole goes somersaulting through the tackle. Now it's away for Ryan. Ryan's got Barker next to him, but he throws the longer pass and finds the skipper Calladine, but it's gone forwards again.
That's the 4th on my abacus. It's so frustrating because it probably was the right thing to do, but it's just the accuracy of the pass. It's good movement. It was a great break from Toby Williams initially. Luke Cole carries it on, whips the ball out. You can see the captain Calladine taking it through. The call came from Barker, and referee was right there. He was flat. He called it forward, and that good movement now has come to nothing once more.
Down and right.
Crouch!
Defensive exit required here by Bedford.
Free kick. Go for another scrum.
Over here.
Go for another scrum.
Just overbalancing, guys. You cannot control.
Because he ties those, obviously ties the 8 forwards in, and see what you can launch. I'd love. Who's going at the back now? You've got, oh yeah.
Let's go, Sean. Let's go, Coop.
Adam Peters has moved to 8, obviously now.
Well, he's been doing that for these picks from the second
but I
half.
would love him to see if you could just get...
Obviously with Dan Grange off for the HIA.
Of course, if you could just get him really launching himself off, and Vieira then just outside him.
Grange is beginning to come down
He
again.
wants this ball.
Thank you for staying up.
Releases it straight to Vieira. Henry, big physical runner, straight into the tackles. Bedford deal with his run to begin with well. Cale and Ryan, they've got 4 on 3 if they can use it. They drift well, the Bedford defence. Vieira looks to the right again. Peters, good carry from him, and then the fend. Just releases it out the back for Foley.
Play on, you step back.
Then again for Cole. Quick ball again. They haven't got a full 3/4 out here, but then they have to go out the back, and it's Will Thomas looking to try and straighten and go through the gap. Might have been on for Thomas if he'd have gone himself, but now there's turnover ball for Bedford, and Rotherham have got to get themselves set defensively here, although it's now a penalty to the Titans. Hand in the ruck, I think, might be the call from the referee, or at least not a release of the player.
Sorry, Nick, this is a full pan, so this will be going into the corner. Again, the line out, I think bar 1 hasn't gone too well. The mothers' meetings there, they're all haggling round to find out exactly where's this going to go.
Cheers.
But a few drives that have gone well. They set up a lot of them outside the 22 though, so there's surely a chance for them. They've only got
5 metres down unless Bedford come out and really compete. Get Carrick Smith right up there in the line and cause them problems. And the great thing about this ground as well, your hookers actually have to really react to where they're going to put the ball, because you can see the slope, so a hooker doesn't have to throw it as hard as he would normally throw it, and that's about A1. And here they go, they're set, and they should be over.
Bedford are arguing with the referee that they haven't committed anybody to it. Ref's not interested, drivers happen regardless. Rotherham are that close. They go again. Can they get a try here? Still close quarters. Are they over there? Referee says we're going to reset again.
Yeah, it's good movement again from Rotherham. But again, you've got to say, good defence from Blues. They're down on their haunches. They're coming around the corner. No TMO here today, so the referee has to make that decision if he's not sure. He's obviously not sure, so he's gone for a 5-metre scrum, and you can see they're battering at the line. The Bourgeois does well. He gets down underneath. He just fly on top of that ball. The referee's made the call. 5 metres out. Now,
there's no ball on the line that we can see.
Now or never. Jake Henry standing again, the big left winger for Rotherham, right in between the 9 and the 10.
He'd have a half a mind to nip round the short side. Adam Peters is controlling it again at the back. Peters is going to go himself. Pops it up for Vieira. Vieira holds it on for Henry, and they're in for the try. Well, we called the short side being up.
I think we called the try scorer. I positioned the try scorer, but not in that position. I thought he may go over the top of Harry Shepherd at 10 underneath the posts. It was a bit of a mix and match scrum. Adam Peters doing well to come onto the left-hand side. A good slip pass from Vieira, the 9. And Jake Henry was over. Now, Caelan Ryan, every point matters.
Thank you.
Yeah.
5 points on the board for Rotherham. Caelan Ryan to try and turn it into 7.
Who's going to be the new Bedford captain? Oh, sorry, 7 blue, yeah. I thought you said 7 white.
Good strike.
It's a great conversion from Ryan.
1-2-7.
First chance on the posts all day.
1-2-7.
And he hasn't disappointed.
Time's off.
There's the score. Like I said, not in the position I thought Jake Henry would be popping up under. And there was nothing you were going to be able to do to stop him going over. Jordan Burns trying to get underneath him. Aquaplane's over the line.
Thank you.
There's a glimmer of hope for Rotherham. Like I said, it takes something out of this game. Finish with 7 or less. He's come away with a point, and they've got it. That's a good take from the restart. Sometimes they fall asleep, but that's good. Now the 9 and 10 should be communicating. The rain is coming down. It's getting worse and worse. So I'd be heaping a lot of that onto the Bedford 15, right down in the corner, putting this ball really high and chasing like your life depends on it.
It's there for Vieira.
The forwards haven't finished with, that's fine. As long as they keep going forward, you can communicate with the referee.
Now use!
Referee wants them to use it. They've got a little pair of them in midfield that'll drop through, and they get a decent bit of change out of that. Now it's there for Ryan again. Thomas joining the line once more, and then on to Luke Peters. Presents the ball. Thomas also helping out. Vieira. Ryan.
Advantage
forward. Jordan Burns. He'll clear it up.
Advantage over.
For Bedford. Kick through is from Chekai. Advantage is called over as it bobbles towards that touchline. Bit of patience to look after that. Inside the 22. Ball is downfield. Oh, and Jordan Burns juggles. Does well to hold on to it. Now he's trying to look for it into the corner. It's come off a Rotherham hand.
Whether it was or not, you then lost it.
Will be a knock on.
It will really Some subs going on there. Lindsay's on.
Sean McCarthy on for George Edson as well. Barilio Campo.
But again, in that situation, then you had Ben Foley who took the ball from Checker, who kicked it to him, and instead of putting the ball back inside, he took it on himself to kick the ball out. He went into the midfield and didn't get the yardage, the required yardage. So here's the try. You think it's going to go right? They actually keep a drive going on. It goes to the floor as the weather comes down even more. And it's a good loop round from Vieira. Here we go. As I put my brolly up.
I just hope it doesn't get in the way of our cameras. That's the main thing, isn't it?
It's all right. It doesn't matter if it gets in the way of my cameras. My hair's a total mess now.
It's coming thick and fast now, the rain.
Lovely.
So the floodlights are on.
There we go. A lovely afternoon in Bedford. I am sure my app said that there was no rain till about 6 o'clock.
Yeah, mine too.
4 change, please.
And it's now 4:15. Right, I want my money back.
Please with you. And 9 as well.
We'll shout to our assistants here who are running around covering all the equipment. Job done. And more changes being made. Ben Adams leaves the field and Jack Ney is on.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Bedford 24, Rotherham 7. At this stage of the game, Rotherham will fancy their chances to get back into Bedford territory.
Again, I'm sorry to be sort of down on the adventurous type way of playing the game. You don't want to play any rugby, especially in these conditions now. You just want to win your ball, and you want your 9 and 10 to smash it into that bottom corner. And now Bedford Bedford are looking for 5 points, so they're going to have to force the game to get that 4th try for them. It would fall into your hands. It's not going to be pretty, it's not going to be attractive, but you may get something out of it.
Well, it doesn't seem to have been in the Rotherham mindset over the past few weeks to actually put the pressure on an opposition and force them into mistakes. If they can ask some questions of Bedford under pressure in the rain, well, you never know. But the Bourgeois, in the meantime,
he's a good boy.
He's going to take possession.
I tell you, for a yard of pace, probably he could play at a higher level, the Bourgeois, especially in these performances this season. But again, it gets a little bit worse. It's a great turn in from Rotherham, but you've got Lee Dixon on the field now, more experience for the Blues. He's almost the type of person that Rotherham would love.
I was shouting there at you because you were not on
Lindsay as well. Changes with McCarthy and Edson leaving the field.
Last ball. Scrum down, blue.
Let's go, come on.
Dean Adamson is just getting a little bit of attention out of your shot.
Yeah.
Hips in.
Rain is certainly getting heavier.
Who is it? Yeah, play on.
We're over the other side, by the way, if anyone's looking at that. Uncovered in the RFU perch.
Okay, let's go, gents.
I didn't think things were so bad at the RFU. I thought they could maybe
time back on, let's go.
We could put a note to the president or chairman to get a covering for us for the later games.
You missed a chance while your old mate Jason was in charge.
The bus of fun. He signed up with the Lions, hasn't he, I believe?
Indeed he has.
I don't know. What has he ever done for England to deserve that? You know, what has he ever done?
Layabout.
Like the Romans. Won a couple of caps, that's all.
He's Dagenham Builders. Break from Bedford. They go through the 8 and 9 combo to find Le Bourgeois, who straightens. He was looking for the options, couldn't find one. 5 metres out, Bedford building to another score here. Dixon was involved, so they couldn't get the service they wanted. It gave Rotherham a chance to reset defensively, but Bedford know how to score from this sort of distance, and Dixon goes down the short side again. They're in on the far side, and Dean Adamson, we said earlier, when he gets 1 he gets 2, and it's the 4th time in the season where he's done that. He's 8 tries in 6 games.
Again, it's well worked. You know, there's no panic out there whatsoever. It's just recycled. I see the old man Tupai's on at 43 years of age, and good presentation going back towards the scrum half arm's length. And like I said, Adamson scored a pretty good cracker in the first, and that was just, well, as easy as they come. Look at that. That's great presentation for a 9, going back by a yard. Still a bit to finish, but that's why he's out there on the wing. 2 tries to Burns, 2 tries for Adamson, and that's 5 points. Well, a bonus point. I don't think Rotherham are going to come back and win this game in the last quarter. I've been proved wrong before, but we will see. That's 5 points done for them. Can he make it an extra 2?
Shepherd. Didn't look like the best of strikes, and it has just come down the near side. So Bedford leading by 29 points to 7. They've put 5 on the board, where Rotherham have had 7 second half. But the Blues looking well in control of this at this stage. It's the bonus point score as well, of course.
Yeah. Oh, they've done well, Bedford. They've struggled in a couple of seasons. The Speckies were saying we should be playing better than this, but they've been turning over a profit, which is good in a championship. They got a few people through the gate. Now this year they've been able to spend a little bit more, i.e. Lee Dixon coming in, Checker, Lindsay. And I think the performances have gone up, obviously ratcheted up. So, you've got to balance the books. And that's what they're doing.
Two clubs have struggled to do so in the championship before.
Yeah, there's a few clubs in the Premiership as well, but we won't go there.
Your old mate Simo with did a write-up on that.
Did he? Right, yes.
Check that one out.
I'm sure he does.
Rugby balls.
It's always got something to talk about. Nice. I'm getting very wet now, I must admit. I'm shielding you because it's coming in past our cameraman. Everyone's looking very, very wet.
Use it now, 9, thank you. Thank you.
There he goes again.
Oh, we've got a loud blast on the whistle there for the high tackle. Clear communication from the referee.
I don't think it was 2 again. Le Bourgeois is quite a tall guy anyway. And again, when he gets Dixon straight to Le Bourgeois. Sorry, that isn't high.
Caladine was just trying to grab him, really, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it's wet and it's a tight shirt. That wasn't high at all. The ref got that wrong, but what's his name again? He calls
Neo.
himself. Yeah.
Neo sees everything. Well, he saw it.
Oh, that's okay then.
Bedford. Jump from Alex Ray. Ball called by the referee. Don't bring it down, he says to Bedford. He says that it's Bedford who brought that to ground, so Lee Dixon will communicate to work out what the options are. He's trying to get Will Carrick-Smith to get out and provide himself as another man to do the trucking up work. Bedford through Tom Lindsay. Dixon. Ray again, proving to be the link man. Dixon again. Big carry. Aurelia Campo familiarising himself with the Rotherham defence. That's a nice little ball back inside. Adam Peters having to make the tackle. Absolutely stretched now. Here goes Chekai. Trying to wrestle the ball from him through the tackle. Hasn't quite worked out. Dixon is looking for it and they're getting an advantage. I think the player not being released. Lindsay with a little bit of Riverdance footwork to try and find a spot to get that one down. Then it's hoisted up for Rich Lane. Finishing off that brilliant try last week that Dean Adamson put the burners on for. But we're going back. Player not rolling away. Here's referee Meredith's call.
Roll clear.
Shepherd's call will be going into the corner. The forwards will call him a catch and drive, or if it goes down, it's up to Dixon then to decide where and when. The control, we see experienced 9 to come on the field, is it's an easy game then. The communication to his forwards when he wants it, communication to his 10 of what he wants. Lindsay wants to dry this off pretty well.
Do you remember what
as soon as he's drying it, it's getting wet again.
Just kidding, guys. I'm not going to go. In you come. Just come in. I don't want to walk in. You asked for it before the game for them. Huh? Oh, sorry, mate.
Lindsay. temp is good and the forwards surround the ball. They're in there again. Aurelia Campo with his hands on it, and then Tupai is there as well. He'd love it if he was the man to get over the line, but Dixon is going to
use it, get back.
Just bring it out a bit. He's going to wait to get the platform set. Burns was a little quicker at getting it away. Dixon certainly just setting a slower tempo here. Option round the corner from Jack Ney.
He took that initial liner, didn't he? Ney, he's got a lot of energy out there.
Just slapping people, shouting at me, asking me for decisions. Calm down, please.
Well, I think the referee is might not have met a scrum half before.
3-14
suggesting to Lee Dixon that he should stop chatting to him and trying to affect the decisions. An absurd concept to Mr. Morris.
Yes, indeed. You're never going to get away with that. Just see the inclement weather carries on. But the faithful are out there. It's rugby day. 3 o'clock on a Saturday is normally rugby day for the Blues supporters. Dixon's just barking the orders. Again, what you see with him again when the ball is wet, he's not firing the ball out. He's just popping the ball into the forwards path, getting him to plough a furrow up the field, get into a position where he then can latch on. We've got 14 minutes left.
Dixon started the first 4 games. He was on the bench away at Jersey last week.
Yeah, he was.
Crouch!
Played over 250 games for Northampton Saints.
Gents, you just not got any balance there.
Did hear that Sale was sniffing after him, his services, because he could do a good job as Peter Stringer obviously has done in his dotage. But he's decided to come here, which is great. I think it's great for the club. And he has been fantastic talking to the coaches. You know, his experience, talking to the younger players, you know, on and off the field. Talking to the Speckies even, which is good. I think he's made the right decision. It's a good club and he'll learn a lot. As I always say with the championship, you know, where else do you cut your teeth? Generally use that phrase quite a bit, I do, but to learn coaching, to learn being about a different club, different people.
Not square and stationary.
Lee Dixon has managed to con a free kick out of the referee there. And Bedford will tap and go and use it. Matt Shields has left the field, so Rotherham have lost one of their bigger lumps. Ben Foley as well, one of them is gone. Replacements are on, but
it's great commitment from Rotherham.
Yeah, Joe Barker in the tackle there. Now Shepherd throws the long one, and Clements Hill. That'll be one of the shorter finishes he has to do this season. But I think the assistant has got his flag up.
I think he has as well. There's so many brollies around us. I think he did. The touch judge has given it. There's no one better in a better position than that. They're just lining up. Paul Tupou fancies another score. Doesn't quite get there, but then presentation of the ball. Lee Dixon has always looked up. He knows exactly where this ball's going. Shepherd, that's nice. There he goes. Yep, his right leg was in touch. It doesn't matter how much you appeal. It's a good decision from the touch judge. They come back for a previous pen.
Crouch!
Mistake. Clements Hill may have another chance, because I'd give him this ball straight away, one-on-one with Jake Henry.
Certainly more sleight of figure Clements Hill to Henry.
There you go.
Can he dance around? Oh, Dixon's given it away. He stumbled around the back, and in the conditions, he just managed to nudge it forwards.
Well, the move was on. Lee Dixon can smile. I can smile because I've done that exactly. You've got the ball, you fall over someone's legs, and to make it worse, the ball squirts forward. But it was going to be a 9-14 one-on-one with Jake Henry.
He'll be buying Clements Hill a bit later for that one.
Here he goes. It's his number 8, Jared Williams. Big Welshman gets in the way.
Greg, hit line, please. Greg, hit line, please. Greg. Crouch!
Rotherham with some defensive work to do.
Yeah, I think they need to do that
Leave the 9.
first rather than wheeling round. I don't think they might get a decision here. The referee favours them. They need more than that. At least they've got the panel. They've got 10 metres. Now fire this ball down deep into the 22 and chase.
'16 chat. First
Caleb
defence
Ryan.
walking round, not pushing straight.
Try and grab some yards. Get Rotherham into the Bedford territory.
Halfway line's yours. Right, there's a fence is my side,
Rotherham line, Charlie Maddison. Former Darlington Moden Park man. Second appearance of the season since the opening day against Nottingham, and Bedford guilty of sacking the man from the line out. So Caleb Ryan says, well, I'll try and stick another 30 metres on the 30 I've already given you.
20. Thank you.
Either it's incredibly fortunate that Caleb Ryan has hit the halfway line and then the 22, or the assistant on the near side is not playing.
It's easier. It's easy for them to line up.
Yeah.
And get a plumb line out there. Well, to get a point, they need 22. Rotherham.
Good hands from Peters at the front. Oh, it's gone forward. You can hear the cheers from the home team. It just falls apart for Rotherham at a crucial stage. 2 penalty kicks to take it down into the red zone. They surrender possession.
1, 10. 10. Change, please.
So we've got to change. Caleb Ryan is going to be leaving us, as is Toby Williams, the Rotherham loosehead.
You're inside.
Lee Miller makes his way on. Former Gala man. Born in Elgin, the Scotsman.
Well, maybe Miller can weave some magic out there. I think against Richmond he got deeper and deeper as the game went on. I'd like to see him pushing forward. He needs to get up onto that gain line a bit like Caleb Ryan has done. It's difficult in these conditions. You almost, like you say, you have to double catch the ball, and you haven't got the dexterity in your fingers to get that quick pass out. Likes of Barker, Peters. First off, they're going to put pressure now on Bedford, try and get this ball back. But unfortunately, this game has gone. 7 minutes to go.
Well, Tom Williams is also on into that front row. Former Bedford skipper. 4th appearance from the bench this season for Rotherham. Started against the Pirates a couple of weeks ago.
Come on, no early, come on. Let's go, boys, second. Second! Yeah, let's go. Come on, Rob, let's go.
Dixon. Big shove from Rotherham. Plenty of pressure. Dixon decides he needs to get that one away. Le Bourgeois.
No, hand 7, ruck!
Tom Callaghan warned in no uncertain terms by the referee that the ruck was formed.
Run out 6!
Bedford, they're going to look to exit from here or build a little more through the phases. Dixon's looking. Appeals to the ref and gets the penalty.
You can't play the 9.
Postlethwaite.
You can't play the 9.
Was
Playing a man without
a
the
little
ball,
intrigued
19.
by the call, but he was all over Dixon.
I won't reward you if you hold him in.
Thank you, sir.
6. I appreciate he held you in, but that's why I didn't pick
So,
up. Yeah, spot
Bedford come in to form the line. And Tom Lindsay jogs over. They're going to look at their options to try and strike from their own half here.
They're coming open. They're coming open.
Aurelia Campo is in there. Referee tells Bedford to get it away.
Say again, mate.
Which he does. Le Bourgeois stepping in at first receiver now. Le Bourgeois again getting himself onto the ball a little more in the last few minutes as a result. Dixon. There's an advantage being played now to Bedford as Rotherham tire and stray into illegality. Jack Ney, the man who carries on. Dixon again. Shepherd, oh, that's a nice little release, and they're straight down the middle here, Bedford. Ryan Hutler, the 19-year-old, is going all the way. Oh, sorry. Thought it was Rich Lane. Lane getting in with the score. He scored last week. And he finishes off a brilliant move. And it was Shepherd putting him through the gap.
Best try of the afternoon by far. That was lovely. Lane in the fast lane, wasn't it? He decided not to. Well, he wasn't going to be a speculative pass to any support runners coming. He could have held that ball up. He could have gone inside. He could have gone outside. He didn't throw it. He just used his pace. There's Shepherd. There's the break. That's a lovely line. Super line. Look, he's left, looking right, and then decides, I'm going straight, and that's good. A good decision. You make that decision, you've got to score that try. Clements Hill was outside him. He was denied a score. And he puts his foot out. He thinks, maybe I'll get the pass. Maybe he'll chuck it out to me. No, he won't. He'll skin the 15 and the winger. And look at that. Celebration time.
Thanks, mate.
And that's what the Blues like to do. They can play it tight and they can play it wide, but again, wide and wonderful is the way they like to go, even in atrocious conditions like this. And the rain really has come down in the last 10 minutes.
Well, Darren, this seems a point while the sixth try goes in from Bedford. Sorry, the fifth try goes in to ask who you think's impressed the most this afternoon.
I think the forwards have gone well. I think Jared Williams has been outstanding for them. But one guy that did catch my eye is my old position. And I normally like to give my Greene King IPA man of the match to someone who stays on for at least 70-odd minutes. He's gone off for a rest. He's let Lee Dixon come on. My Greene King IPA man of the match is Jordan Burns. I think he's been outstanding. He scored 2 tries, sweeping up from behind. His communication to his forwards, when they weren't going too well in that first half, was being great. He snipes. And I think he's an all-round package, and I think Bedford Blues have got tremendous riches in that position of halfback.
He certainly got Bedford going in that first half, did Burns, and now they're still under plenty of pressure. Peters plays scrum half. Oh, and it's inaccuracy. Bedford might get their hands on it again here. They'll certainly get the scrum.
Just a mess on the floor. Both got rights to the ball. Blue are going forward.
Here he is. And they'll need him to keep going.
Come on.
All right, mate. I'll get on this side now.
2 minutes to go.
Blue ball going forward, yeah. Got 2 players on the ground, both compete for the ball, which you can't do, so we'll have a scrum. Yep.
Is there a final flourish? And a damp afternoon at Goldington Road.
Well, it's job done, really, isn't it, for Mike Ray's men?
Look, they'll take it.
That wasn't a knock on.
You know, they've got the British and Irish Cup coming up, haven't they? After that, I do believe it's Yorkshire and Notts, 2 good fixtures for them. Yorkshire away, Nottingham at home. And equally for Ealing, they've got 2 fixtures against Connacht and Richmond in the British and Irish Cup, and then they've got Ealing and Bristol. It doesn't get any easier for them. Handy keys, guys. But they've shown a lot of heart today. They've showed an improvement as far as the line spin. Unfortunately, just a few holes have opened up, and Bedford have been able to get through them and score the tries.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
It is going to be tough psychologically for Rotherham Titans from here on in. 6 defeats in a row before the break for the Cup.
2.5 minutes.
Last play of the game, into the corner.
Lee Miller.
And that's he couldn't have placed that better.
Done nicely there, hasn't he?
5 metre line's yours, Blue. 5 metre line is yours.
Our clock is as best an estimation as we can give. We're on the referee's watch, of course.
And he's never wrong.
Not even see everything can hold
not even with time.
5 metre line is yours.
Madison.
He knows what I'm having for Christmas as well, obviously.
Peters with the take.
No effect on the
They gather round to get the shove going. Peters is calling the troops forward. It's splintered a little bit. It's with Madison at the back. Now it goes to ground. Bedford putting plenty of pressure on. Is that ball coming out, or is the referee going to have to blow for this penalty? They're going to have another go. Rotherham to try and get a second try in this game. Bedford know they've got the game won. Vieira. They've gone for the crossfield kick. Is the option on for Henry? No. We're coming back for the penalty. Clements Hill thought it was his birthday.
That would have been a good foot race, wasn't it? And I don't think anyone would have followed him. He was just about to pin the ears back, but the advantage was being played. This is just unfortunate lip service from Rotherham Titans.
Side entry.
Side entry was the penalty, incidentally. And we'll go into the corner again.
The middle, and you guys step half a metre off.
Peters has been the target man a few times at these line-outs, and he's dealt with them well.
Got to give a mention, I think, to Postlethwaite as well, who's come on and has added a bit of oomph, you know.
Ball is still at the front.
You can say the commitment's there. You can tell that the lads are together. It's just a few nuts and bolts and
Getting the shove on again. Now they break around the side. Are they over? Referee has to see the ball down himself. As we said earlier, there's no TMO here.
Oh, he's given a card. Carrick Smith's gone.
What's happened here before you got any forward momentum? By 5. No, you can
down to 14 for the last knockings
swimming up the side
of this 6th round Greene King IPA Championship match. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage wherever you've been watching. Stay with us for a bit of post-match analysis with Dowie Morris and Carrick Smith will get the chance for an early bath. Madison to get it right again. They went to Byron Hodge last time. Now they mix it up again and they go to Rob Lowe at the back.
And over the 15.
Over the 15-metre line. This is a better go forward. Where's the ball? Referee can't see it. He gives the try.
Tries there. Definitely on the ground.
Yes. Says it's definitely on the ground. Who's going to be the last one to come up with it?
There's a little pocket of Rotherham supporters just in front of us here, then punch in the air. Again, they've toiled away at it. It's a pretty good set. You can say the ball's right at the back.
Sorry.
I'll leave this one to you.
Yeah, thanks.
The referee's given it. The game's gone.
It was Rotherham who's given it.
Bedford have won, and in a sense, in these conditions, they won quite handsomely. I think they've taken their opportunity, scored 3 good tries in the first half, a couple in the second.
Someone's getting a pat on the backside.
Yeah, well.
Conversion attempt is good from Miller, and that will round things off. 20 points the difference in the end. So Lee Miller adds the conversion. 2 tries, second half for both sides. Jake Henry getting the first, then Dean Adamson getting his second of the game. Then Rich Lane. Through the wind and rain, I thought I'd seen a 23 on his shirt, but it was 13, Rich Lane with that score. And a forwards effort off the line out from Rotherham as Paul Tupai shakes the hands. Lee Miller adds the final 2 points of the game. And Bedford have won by 34 points to 14. They pick up all 5 points once again with that 4th try bonus, which came just after half-time from Adamson. Let's have a look at the scores from that second half then.
Yeah, you can see the rain coming down, trying to tighten it up.
A little bit messy at the end.
This was a good score from Rotherham. Jake Henry getting in, he'd set up just between the 9 and the 10, you're thinking he was going to go up the field. It's wheeled a bit, it's a good decision. And Vieira then just loops around, he doesn't do too much there. A call comes from Jake Henry and he's over with his power and his sort of pace there. He gets low to the ground, aquaplanes over, and you think possibly, maybe if Watson, whatever's, he's going to be able to, you know, Rotherham could just turn the corner and get another couple of quick scores and get within 7 or so to get a point. But it wasn't to be. Celebration from Portuguese 9. But then, as ever, they make some substitutions. They come back and they roll the sleeves up. Lee Dixon comes on. Dean Adamson getting his second. And it's one-way traffic, really. They're so clinical. And again, a good side. It's a bit like Ealing, watching Ealing. They don't panic. That's something they've learned over the seasons. You know, again, with Lee Dixon's experience, he just comes on. You've got good finishes out wide. Just don't panic. Go through the processes. The ball will come out, and we will butt it out, even in bad conditions.
Nice quick hands as well from Chris Chekai as well, just to make sure it found Adamson.
And this was the mic try of the afternoon. It's a great decision from Lane to make. I always say, you know, you make that decision, you've got to score it. I'd have let him off, to be honest, because again, it's tricky. He couldn't have passed the ball. You know, the ball is quite slippery anyway. Hasn't got too much of an option. I thought possibly inside was there. You can see Clements Hill coming up, but he tucked it under his arm by then. He was over, and he wasn't letting that one go. And why not? And I think that just it typifies the Bedford Blues for me. Even in bad conditions, all right, the game was won. They still will have a go.
You can see the moment he made that decision as that tuck goes, can't you?
And people are trying to get across. It wasn't to be. And they're a good side. The Blues are a good side. They will be there or thereabouts, even though unfortunately we haven't got the playoffs, because that could cause somebody a serious amount of problems.
It's one of those periods in the Championship where doing away with those playoffs is an interesting time, given how dominant Bristol are.
If you want my soapbox, I can get on it for a second as we see Rotherham just getting a few crumbs from the table, getting over right at the death. Maybe to take something into the next couple of games, but they've got a lot of work to do defensively and attacking wise. But again, you can see there's a spirit there. But I think they should always have the playoffs, because I would say if you're a good enough side, Bristol are a good enough side. They have the quality there, they have the backing, they have the squad. Teams are going to ask questions, but over a two-leg competition, you are going to be, surely, with all that ammunition, you've got to be good enough. And it gives everyone to run, you know, to go to the end of the season. Yes, Bedford may get £5,000 for finishing second and third. Well, if they get to a semi-final, get to a final, they're getting 3,000 people through the gate every time of that, plus the beer sales. That's more than £5,000.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And this is lovely to see, because the Rotherham faithful have come down. They'll be there in the bar on Tuesday to go through the game with the players. All the players know them. They're sponsored by, you know, by certain players, certain people out there.
Friends and family, isn't it?
It is, and they're a great story. I think once you know you go to Rotherham, you're always associated with a lot of heart. And look, let's hope for them. They've got good spirit. They need to do big things for the remaining bits of the season. That loss against Richmond last week was probably a nail in a coffin, but hey, never say never. And these Bedford Blues under Mikey Rear are getting better and better.
We'll be hoping to grab a bit of post-match reaction shortly, so do stay with us. We can run you through some of the other scores, and well, this one has of course finished 34 points to 14. Bristol Rugby 47, London Scottish 26. That's a full-time result, that one. Ealing Trailfinders 24, Jersey Reds 3. That's one of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Hartpury College 29. Doncaster Knights 27 is a full-time score. And looking at Richmond against Yorkshire Carnegie, 31 points to 15.
They'll be partying in the sun in Richmond tonight, I can tell you that.
Cornish Pirates against Nottingham is tomorrow down at the Menet. And just an update onto that Ealing Trailfinders score. It's actually 31-8 since Our graphics man put that one together a few moments ago, so another couple of scores going down, but Ealing Trailfinders well in control either way.
That's a tremendous result for them, tremendous result for Hartpury College, beating Clive Griffiths' Doncaster. He won't be happy with that, but Richmond 3 on the bounce now. You know, people had them for earmark for going down. They wouldn't be able to survive as an amateur club. They've just torn that up, haven't they? Good lads.
And some updates from the Tyrrell's Premier 15s. Loughborough Lightning 5 forward, Waterloo ladies 19. It's Harlequins ladies 31-0 against Darlington. Saracens 30-0 against Wasps ladies. And of course we had our first live streaming game from the Tyrrell's Premier 15s. Harlequins ladies against Loughborough Lightning last week. Harlequins running out winners there, coached by Gary Street and Karen Findlay. And we've got more Premier 15s coming for you as well at the end of the month, leading us into England Women's International. The Red Roses taking on Canada. Here is the full rundown of what we've got coming up on the England Rugby Facebook page, on englandrugby.com, and on premier15s.com and championshiprugby.co.uk. So at the end of the month, as I say, Gloucester Hartpury Women RFC against Saracens. Sunday the 12th, Cornish Pirates against Hartpury College. That'll be a tasty little match in the IPA Championship. Then it's that England Women's International. The Old Mutual Wealth Series kicking off. England Women against Canada. Sunday the 19th of November, Nottingham against Ealing Trailfinders. Then Friday, November the 24th, Bedford against Hartpury College. And then at the beginning of December into that school finals and a chance to have a look at the next generation of players, the Ace Final and the Champions Trophy Final. Don't forget, you can watch all of this on facebook.com/official England Rugby and on the competition websites themselves. But I believe we can now catch up with the Bedford head coach, Mike Rayer, who is hopefully joining us. Mike, great to see you there. I hope you can hear us okay. What were you saying there in that huddle with the rest of the players, and how did you guys feel about the result this afternoon?
Yeah, well, look, we defended really well for large parts of that game, which is important to us. And obviously we scored some nice tries, but you know, we were disappointed with our discipline, and obviously to finish like we did, but fair play to Rotherham. They kept going and caused us a few problems.
Mike's Dowie, Jordan Burns' performance, I gave him man of the match. I thought he was outstanding in that first half. You must be delighted with the sort of riches you've got at 9.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jordan gets on the ball in second touch situations, and he reads them like no other, really. But I was really pleased for our 10 today, Harry Shepherd.
Yeah.
I thought he was my man of the match. I mean, his defence was incredible, and he really got the back line moving. So now some good performances all around, but we still got a lot to work on.
Must have been pleased to back up that result last week from Jersey in terms of being able to get all 5 points here this afternoon as well. Critical for your rise up the table.
Yeah, look, you know, we did really well first half when we needed to. Got a bit of daylight between us and Rotherham. It was a bit scrappy second half, but when that fourth try went in, yeah, we can't get many more than 5 points, I suppose.
Dean Adamson, when he scores one this season, he tends to get 2, certainly getting another brace there. Moving on from here then, what's the message in terms of going into the British and Irish Cup, and how are you going to manage this in terms of moving forward in the Greene King IPA Championship as well?
Yeah, look, I think it's important to keep momentum going. We've always enjoyed the BNI Cup competition. It takes you to different places, you know, different environments. You know, make some good memories in this competition. So we're looking forward to Nottingham next week and hopefully establish ourselves in the pool. Well,
we really appreciate you joining us today, Mike Rayer. Many congratulations today on the result. Thanks a lot.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
So Mike Rayer, a happy man.
Yeah.
No surprises.
No, you would be. There's plenty to work on. It's the coach speak, isn't it? There is. You know, they're not the finished article. There's a few guys that have come in, but you can see the way they're trying to play. Yeah, Shepherd was excellent at 10, and that combination with 9 and 10 set the performance up, set the win up, I would say. But they've got good experience on the bench. You can see when Dixon comes on, they just add a little bit more, and they're building. And it's nice to see that, like I said before, these experienced players can come in, and they've got a crop of good academy players coming through. So look, it's a rugby town, and they just want to see good rugby being played. And we didn't see all of it today in bad sticky conditions, but they're set fair for the rest of the season.
Well, the Scrum Half Club continued this afternoon because Dowie Morris selected his man of the match to be the Bedford 9, Jordan Burns, and Jordan joins us now. Jordan, how was the game from your point of view being out there on the field?
Yeah, we had a really good game. Credit to Rotherham, they really did bring it to us. We had to work hard for our tries, but we did really well in our attack, and our defence really held up.
He did, and I was going to say, Jordan, having Lee Dixon come to the club, obviously we know he wants to go further and start sort of be a coach and whatever. Has he been able to give you little bits and pieces to work on?
Yeah, Lee Dixon's been a great mentor. He's teaching me things on and off the field, and I'm learning it from every day. He's a great player to be around. He's teaching the whole club, and he's coaching really well, and he's a great asset to Bedford.
It was interesting in terms of that 9-10 combo. Was it an area that Mike Reyes said to you to really take advantage today? Because obviously there was a new combination for Rotherham at 9 and 10, and you and Harry Shepherd seemed to work incredibly well together, intrinsic in so many of the big scores that happened for Bedford.
Yeah, they did have a new combination at 10, but that didn't faze us. We knew what we wanted to do, and so we went in with the game plan and we executed it.
You certainly did. Well, many congratulations. You are the Greene King IPA Championship man of the match, and we wish you the very best.
Make sure you share that with some of the forwards as well, boy. All right.
Thank you.
Good lad.
That won't go very far with most of the forwards, will it?
They got one each. That's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there we are. That's just about all we have for you this afternoon. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage, and well, many congratulations to Bedford. For Rotherham, they've still got a bit of work to do.
They've got a lot of work to do, but there's a lot of heart there. Talking to Andy Key before, he knows that, there's spirit there. Maybe he has to go, not with his begging bowl, but he may have to go to the likes of his old mate Dean Richards at Newcastle. They're flying high, one or two players, not a great deal of players, to unruffle the guys that are so committed, and maybe to Lee Blackett at Wasps, just one or two players. The commitment's there. They've just got to get together in the defensive pattern. There's far too many holes, but there's spirit. It's a long season. Possibly they could survive. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dowie, thanks very much for your company this afternoon, and wherever you've been tuning in, whether it's been on the championshiprugby.co.uk website or Facebook or wherever it's been great to have you with us. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage, and we'll see you all again here very, very soon. For now, good afternoon.